What you know you can't explain, but you feel it. You felt it your entire life. That there's something wrong with the world. You don't know what it is, but it's there. You can feel it.
Get up on out the bed and start to move your balls. Let's wake up with Word and Solomon Jones. Word. You better wake up now.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD, and I'm going to welcome you to another edition of Wake Up with Word. Kawesa, thank God it's Friday.
Yeah. I'm ready.
Do you know?
Yeah.
Lord have mercy. Get us to the weekend. No, get us to 8:40 when you bless us with a song. I know you've decided what you're going to say.
I have, yeah.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, it is Friday, and Styx is meowing in the background. Lord have mercy. I can hear it like echoing in my ear. I'm going to have to get her. But anyway, she's in the basement. She in the basement. Sometimes we got to put her in the basement, man, because she'll jump up, you know what I mean, 4 o'clock in the morning. Come in your room, jump up in your face 4 o'clock in the morning. You got to be in the basement.
Yeah, they call those like the Zoomies. You know, they like, hey, I'm up, so you should be up. How you doing? Like, really?
If you don't get out my face. So, yeah, so that's going on. And, of course, it's going to be, I think it's going to be another hot one today. Going to be like 90 today again, I think. Is that right?
Mm-hmm, like 91, something like that. Yeah.
So we're looking forward to all of that. And, of course, we got to deal with the fact that Karen is back and she lying again. Amy Cooper, the white woman who was recorded on video calling police to claim that a black bird watcher was threatening her life in New York City's Central Park last year, said she felt like she was backed into a corner in Tuesday's episode of the Honestly podcast by former New York Times writer Barry Weiss. Amy Cooper claimed she had no other choice but to call 911 when the bird watcher, Christian Cooper, no relation, offered her dog a treat after he asked her to keep the pooch on a leash. He's holding these dog treats in one hand and a bike helmet in his other hand, and I'm thinking, oh my God, is this guy going to lure my dog over and try to hit him with his bike helmet? Amy said. And if I end up over there, am I going to get hit by this bike helmet? But that's not what she said when it happened. Last May, she said that she overreacted and was sorry. But on the podcast, she said, I don't know that as a woman alone in the park that I had another option but to call police. Well, here's another option, Karen. Go home, have a seat, and then have several more. Because every time you speak on this, you sound even more entitled. Black people out here trying to survive, and you still talking about your dog. Go away, stay away, and let us get on with our lives. We got a hot show for you today on Wake Up with Word. Deputy Police Commissioner Christine Coulter joins us to talk about the issues with 911 response times, Councilwoman Helen Gim on the eviction moratorium, Ben Felicia of the Pennsylvania Restaurant and Lodging Association on how restaurants have been responding to the coronavirus. Taylor Allen of Planned Philly has the latest housing in the city. Of course, Kawesa blesses us with a song. Plus, Akbar Hassan answers your money questions. And as always, we've got you, our listeners, calling in at 215-634-8065. A toll-free 1-866-361-0900. Hit us on Twitter and Instagram at onWURD, or you could hit me personally at Solomon Jones 1. Watch us on Facebook at 4Word. But first, it's the big three, the news stories you need to know to kick off your day right here on Wake Up with Word. Story number one, the White House touting progress in vaccinations in recent days, even as cases go up. Vaccinations do too. The White House is saying that if more vaccinations happen and that pace continues, then we can get the surge under control in a matter of weeks. The question is, will people do it? The Delta variant, a little bit different. The severity of the illness, not the number of people who contract the virus, is a crucial step for people to understand at this point in the pandemic. That's what Dr. Rochelle Walensky, who heads the CDC, said. I think we all have to recognize that with 164 million people who are vaccinated, we should expect tens of thousands, perhaps, of breakthrough infections, Walensky told CNN's Wolf Blitzer on Thursday. Those breakthrough infections have mild illness. They're staying out of the hospital. They're not dying. And I think that that's the most important thing to understand. Breakthrough cases occur when the virus infects fully vaccinated people. As this Delta variant of the coronavirus rips through the U.S., it's especially devastating regions with low vaccination rates, as experts and government officials nationwide urge people to get their shots before a dire situation gets worse. As of Thursday, roughly half of the U.S. population is fully vaccinated, CDC data shows, and 58.4% received at least one dose, full vaccination necessary for optimal protection against COVID-19. So, people are getting it, man. The Delta variant is more infectious. It spreads more easily, but people are getting vaccinated. And, again, it is your personal decision to decide what it is that you want to do. But, just know that everyone, I think, around you is affected by that decision. And so we have to decide for ourselves what it is we want to do, not just for us, but for the people around us, including those that we love. Kwesi, what do you think?
Yeah, it definitely is a personal decision. I know, for me, I'm not even going to sit here and be like, oh, I'm so hardcore vaccines, things like that. But,
right.
I was doing what I felt was in my best interest and in the best interest of my family. And so, if you are deciding that you're not going to go and get vaccinated, you got to be safe. You got to make sure that you're keeping your mask on, you're washing your hands, and you're trying to, stay as virus free as possible, I guess, and so, but it is rough. And, I have friends of mine who are on the front lines, even like in Florida, and they're saying, their ICUs are filling up. They're running out of room, and so this is very serious. It's, starting to really impact a lot of people yet again, because we weren't taking this seriously the first time around. And so, I'm just praying that everybody makes the best decision for themselves,
Yeah. And I think it's hard to really grasp the full extent of it when, you can't see a virus. You can't see it. So, you go outside, walk around, everything looks normal. You know what I mean? Everything feels normal until you get it. You know what I mean? Having had COVID in a mild case, I was anxious. Because it's like, okay, what's going to happen? You know what I mean? Like, is this going to get worse? Yeah, I feel dizzy. I feel weak. I feel, like I've never felt before. I feel these crazy chills, like, but what's going to happen? And you just don't know. And so, we do all we can, man, to protect us and to protect those that we love around us, man. And so, we have to make the best decision for ourselves, which brings me to story number 2. The Justice Department launched a civil rights investigation of the Phoenix Police Department Thursday, looking at whether police use excessive force, treat minorities differently, and deal properly with the disabled and homeless. Phoenix police face lawsuits and widespread complaints over their response to Black Lives Matter protests last year. One suit claims the police filed false felony charges after rounding up 124 people, chasing them, and firing tear gas. Attorney General Merrick Garland said the investigation will examine whether officers use excessive force, engage in discriminatory policing, violate free expression, respond improperly to people with disabilities, and violate the rights of the homeless by seizing and disposing of their property. Garland and Kristen Clark, the Assistant Attorney General for the Civil Rights Division, said the Phoenix mayor and police chief were briefed on the investigation Thursday morning and pledged their support. So yet another police department accused of systemic abuse of black and brown and other people who don't look like them. Boyce, are you surprised?
I'm not surprised, and this is definitely necessary to do. And actually, I wish that, they would do it with more departments, because we are seeing this, on a very large scale. And so, yes, do what you need to do to make sure that you are protecting black and brown folks, and, also people who are, of the least of these. And I just don't see why it is so difficult to just treat every human being as a human being. But we're in this predicament, we're in this space, and so yes, it's necessary to make sure that they get investigated so they stop doing this to our people.
Yeah. Which brings me to story number 3. A few weeks back, the city was going to clear out the homeless encampment on Kensington Avenue But a Villanova professor who claims to be a homeless advocate threatened to sue, and the city backed off. Well, now the city has rescheduled the clear out for August 18th, and I'm here for it. No one can shoot drugs, have sex, and defecate on the sidewalk in Chestnut Hill. They shouldn't be able to do it in Kensington either. Get them out of those tents, off of those sidewalks, and turn the neighborhood back over to the taxpayers. Because here's the truth of the matter. The people who are homeless in Kensington are homeless because they're on drugs. They're homeless because they burn bridges. And as hard as it might be to hear, they're homeless because they won't stop using. How do I know? Because I've been homeless and on drugs. And when you're in that situation, the way you get out of it is to stop using drugs, go to a shelter, and use whatever income you have to save for permanent housing. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying you won't have setbacks, but to pretend that these are simply people who are homeless because they're down on their luck, well, that's dishonest. They're sleeping on the streets of Kensington because they are addicted to drugs, and that's where drugs are sold. This is not about housing. It's about whether taxpayers who live and work in a community have the right to be at peace. And to the so-called advocates who think it's right to have drug users camped out on the sidewalk, well, take them to your neighborhood. And if you don't want to do that, then do the right thing. Help them to stop using. Help them to start living, and then we can get them off the streets. I want to hear from you. You give me a call. 215-634-8065 is the number. You can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio and let us know where you are on these various things we are talking about on this morning show. So they are clearing people out in Kensington. They're going to be doing that August 18th. I believe that the city is absolutely right to do that because you would not let that happen in any other community. Now, if you're willing to let it happen in Chestnut Hill, if you're willing to let it happen in Washington Square West, if you're willing to let it happen in Society Hill, then by all means, leave them there in Kensington too. But if you're not willing to allow that to happen in other communities, then these people, just because they're poor, just because they don't necessarily have means, shouldn't have to put up with that either. I mean, that's just really the bottom line. If not, stop collecting their taxes. So I think the city is absolutely right to do what they have to do to get these people out of there. That's crazy. You can't allow people to just come in and just take over a neighborhood like that. You cannot allow it. You can't. And so, you know, those who want to advocate and claim that it's about homelessness, well, let them take their tents and live on the sidewalk in front of your house, shooting drugs, having sex, pooping on your sidewalk, breaking in your house, breaking in your car, breaking into businesses, scaring your kids, making your neighborhood unlivable. Let them come to your neighborhood and do that since you're such an advocate, right? Let them come to your hood and do that. But if you don't think that's right, if you don't think that's acceptable, then you can't tell these people it should be acceptable in their community. That's ridiculous. So I want to hear from you about that. You can give me a call, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD. The other thing that happens is that people continue to be freed from prison for crimes they did not commit. One of them is Jerome Loach. He is joining the growing list of Philadelphians cleared of all charges after more than a decade in prison. He had been serving a 25 to 50-year sentence for a home invasion robbery that took place while he was acting in a gospel play several miles away. His homecoming came in the form of the removal of the house arrest ankle monitor about a year after his conviction was overturned. He recently filed a civil suit alleging egregious misconduct by Philadelphia police detectives who he said threatened him with the arrest of his son, hid information proving his co-defendant had lied, and fabricated phone records to tie him to the crime. In July 2020, the Philadelphia DA's Conviction Integrity Unit agreed Loach had been wrongfully convicted but did not concede his innocence. Instead, the DA offered a plea deal that would have made Loach eligible for immediate parole. So he was adamant in regard to his innocence and rejected that deal. So he's now saying, look, you know, y'all got to pay me because the cops lied. fabricated evidence, did all kinds of stuff. And, you know, as you watch these cases, as you watch these dominoes fall, as you watch these things happen, man, over and over again, my question is this: how many innocent people are there in prison? I want to hear from you. You give me a call, 215-634-8065. That is the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. And, of course, more people starting to ask the question that I asked earlier this week: where is the FOP in terms of holding people accountable for storming the Capitol, attacking police officers, injuring 140 of them? 4 of them have committed suicide since then. 1 of them died the next day. They claim it was natural causes. I say he died from his injuries from fighting those people. Where's the FOP? Because I don't see him. Where they at, though? 215-634-8065 is the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD. My piece in the Inquirer today, The Atlantic has written about that as well, asking the same question. Their piece came out, I believe, today. Where's the FOP? Where are they? And why aren't they castigating these people, criticizing these people, denouncing these people the same way they did Black Lives Matter when they protested, for the most part, peacefully? I want to know what you think. You give me a call, 215-634-8065. Jacob from Olney is first up, and then you are at 215-634-8065. I'm Solomon Jones. This is WURD Radio. We'll be right back.
Hi, this is John.
Hi, this is Juanita, owners of JD's Auto Body and Painting. We're located at 6300 Wayne Avenue, right there at the intersection of Wayne and Washington Lane.
We really like to thank all you WURD listeners for the support that you've given our business, and we really hope to see you in the future.
JD, tell them about our products and services we have.
We have a new state-of-the-art paint shop along with our body shop and detail shop. We can help you with the dents and scratches from the winter season.
Come to JD's Auto Body and Painting. Come on out and check us out. We're still honoring that WURD 10% discount. Give us a call, 215-848-5949. Again, 215-848-5949.
Thanks again for supporting our business. We really appreciate you.
See you at JD's Auto Body and Painting.
Philadelphia Families PHL Pre-K, the city's free quality pre-K program, is growing and now enrolling. Over 160 pre-K centers are ready to serve children this year. There are no income limits for this free pre-K program. Children who are 3 or 4 years old as of September 1 can enroll. Call 844-PHL-PRE-K or visit phlprek.org to learn more and find a quality pre-K center. That's 844-745-7735. This program is made possible by the Philadelphia Beverage Tax.
Save the date. Thursday, August 26th for WURD Radio's annual Founders Day celebration, honoring the life of our founder, Walter P. Lomax Jr., MD. This year, we'll be both in person and virtual. Stay tuned to WURD Radio and WURDradio.com for more information. That's Thursday, August 26th for our annual Founders Day celebration. Exclusively on WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD. Streaming live on WURDradio.com, the WURD Radio app, or watch live on WURD TV via Facebook and YouTube. Now, a traffic update on WURD Radio.
A disabled tractor trailer on the 42 freeway southbound in Gloucester City, and this report is sponsored by ExpressPros.com. The 42 freeway southbound barely moving after 295 northbound. It's all due to a disabled tractor trailer. 2 right lanes are blocked. It's jammed up from 130. Also a crash on the 42 freeway, this time in the northbound lanes. North of Coles Road, the right lane is blocked. It's backed up from College Drive, and an 18-minute delay there. We have stop-and-go traffic on 55 northbound north of Deptford to 42. The Ben Franklin Bridge westbound heading into Philadelphia. One long line of cars, the right lane is taken up due to road work, and the Schuylkill westbound is jammed at 202. The right lane is closed due to road work as well. Looking for a job? Contact Express Employment Professionals and be part of their national hiring event. With one application, Express connects you with multiple employers and never charges a fee. Go to expresspros.com, find your nearest office, and call Express today. For more traffic information, go to SIGAlert.com. I'm Ann Evans with your Philadelphia area traffic.
You're waking up with WURD, hosted by Solomon Jones. Good morning. Right now on WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD. I want to welcome you back to Wake Up with Word. We're taking your calls at 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. And you can let us know where you are in these various things we're talking about on this morning's show. Of course, COVID infections going up around the country, but vaccinations going up as well. The White House hopeful that if that pattern continues, then we can get a hold of this latest surge in the next few weeks. We will see what happens with that. Of course, also talking about the innocent people, man, who are being released from prison and who are now speaking out on how their convictions happen, looking at previous DAs, also some police detectives who are accused of engaging in some corrupt activities in terms of how they got those convictions. And so as these people are released from prison, we are learning more and more, and it makes me wonder how many more innocent people are in prison in and around Philadelphia because of the corruption that is in the criminal justice system. I guess we'll find out as more of them begin to speak out, file suit, and seek justice. And of course, still talking about Karen. I don't know why we still talking about this woman in Central Park, Kawesa. She just will not go away. Now, first she admitted she was wrong, said she was sorry. Now she's talking about she ain't had no other choice but to call the police. The man asked you to put your dog on a leash. Are you kidding me? What's wrong with these people?
I don't know. I just, like, as you were reading, I was like, just go away. Like, I just was like, go away. Like, no one cares. I mean, like, it's so infuriating. And then, like, to really sit there and double down on being the victim.
Yeah.
Get the heck out of it. Man, kick rocks. Oh my gosh. Like, kick all the rocks. Oh, man, I can't.
Yeah, it's bizarre. And then, of course, you got Kensington. Now, you know, I've been talking about this for a couple of years. Lynn came on earlier this week and talked about it. I connected him with Shannon Farrell, who's the president of the Harrogate Civic Association, and he went down there and was in disbelief. I mean, you know, to actually have people who don't live in Philadelphia, let's start there, or if they do, don't live in that community, trying to tell those people, oh, we're advocating for the homeless. We think they should be able to stay on the sidewalks in your community. We think they should be able to continue to use drugs and defecate and scare your children and have sex on the sidewalk and, you know, all of the things that come with that, because there's a whole lot that comes with that. Prostitution comes with that. Crime comes with that. Violence comes with that. Like, if you have that atmosphere, all of those things come with it. And they saying we advocating for the homeless. Well, what? Who's advocating for the taxpayer? You know, and I could see if this was really about just homelessness, like people who, you know, have gone through a financial crisis, or they're down on their luck, or they've lost their job. You know, that's one thing. But when you make a conscious decision that I am going to continue to use drugs, and as a result of that, you are homeless, well, it's not just about homelessness. That's about drug addiction and you making a decision as to whether or not you want to continue in that. That's real rap. I don't know how much more honest about it I can be. I know because I've been there. Right? You burned all your bridges. Your family doesn't want you around right now. You have to get yourself together, and then you will have some options. But, you know, don't pretend that this is all about the victimhood, because it's not. It's not. And the people who are being victimized in Kensington are the people who actually live there and pay taxes. I don't think it's right. I want to hear from you. You give me a call, 215-634-8065. And so I say all that to say that the city is right to say on August 18th, y'all got to go. You can't continue to do this. I think they're absolutely right to do it. So I want to hear from you. You give me a call, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. Let's talk to Jacob from Olney on line one. Go ahead, Jacob.
Hey, peace be unto you, Solomon. Hey, Solomon, amen tell the truth and shame the devil, okay? You know, you're not helping them people by enabling them to have an area where they could just do this, what they're doing. I mean, oh, my God. I mean, you have to want better for yourself, for one.
That's right.
You know, as a person, like you said, we know. You know, I never was on heroin or anything like that, but I know what addiction is about, right?
Yeah.
And I know how I let go. See, I had to let go the rope, we call it in Islam, the rope of God. I let it go, right? So I had to grab back onto it, see?
Yeah.
You know, there's a song in the church say, well, what would I know about his mercy if I hadn't gotten out of grace, right? So we that's what makes us so thankful that we came back to, because I knew the Creator made me for better than that, right? I knew that within myself. So then I had to fight the real jihad. You know, years ago they were talking about Islamic jihad and like it was some kind of war which you fight with swords. Oh, no. The fight was with yourself. That's the big jihad. So we were taught. So, but getting to the FOP, man, look, Karen, people like the FOP, Karen that you spoke about, the Republicans, when I played with the Delphonics, we used to play a tune where Poogie said, "You've been untrue." And that's exactly what they are. They're just untrue to what truth is, to what right is, to what good is. They're untrue to that. And if you can't see it, I'm going to send you to Will's Eye Hospital. Thank you, Solomon.
All right. I want to thank you so much for your call this morning on WURD Radio. Let's go to Lola from Jenkintown on line 2. Go ahead, Lola.
Yes, Solomon, thank you for taking my call, and I wanted to just shout out Kawesa. You guys make a great team, and I like when I'm working during the week and listening to you guys banter back and forth is really, you know, makes my day if I'm working on something really complicated. So I wanted to shout you guys out.
Thank you.
Okay. I was calling because I just had two issues, and I know there's so many issues, but I wanted to just talk about, like, the Amy Cooper thing. I wanted to just say that when they do these things, this is the thing that we talk about with the white privilege and the white entitlement. Excuse me for stuttering real quick. This is what we're exactly talking about. They never mean those apologies. They're trying to save their jobs and their built-up reputations, because as you can remember, she stated that she was a Democrat. She voted for Obama and all that stuff. These are the people who we're dealing with. She didn't have a dog on a leash. I see them where I live walking around with a dog on a leash. This is how you get bitten by dogs. He asked her just to put the dog on a leash. That's a law, to have a leashed dog. So now how are you afraid that he's going to hit you with the helmet? I mean, this is absolutely insane, Solomon. And they even double back and say this after a year. This is what we're talking about. So you don't even see the racist acts and implications of calling the cops on a black man, that anything could happen to him. And not only that, it was a whole lie. And this is what we're dealing with. And this isn't even a Republican. And so this is what we're talking about, why we have the videos and how they are weaponizing themselves with the police and everything. And then I also wanted to say, I do feel, you know, I feel empathy for the people in Kensington, but black people went through this stuff in the 80s and the early 90s with the crack era. My girlfriend, we were just talking about it yesterday. She grew up in Southwest Philly. She said when she was younger, it was like zombies walking around. It was.
But you know what, Lola? It wasn't. I'm telling you, you got to go down there. Go down there. Once you go down there and see it, you tell me if it was nothing. It was not. It never got to this point. They down there, and again, it goes to white privilege because the people who are down there doing this are white. But
Solomon,
they got
can I
tense.
counter you on this? That
they
if
got
you live
tense,
in the project, it was almost like that.
I've never seen it like that. In all my years,
well,
I have
been
never
down there, so I'll take
ever
your word.
seen that.
I haven't been down Kensington, so I haven't been down there. Okay.
I want you to go down there.
Can I say this last thing?
Yep, go ahead.
Okay, I just wanted to say this. I know this might not be to everybody's liking, but I just want to say that I'm not totally convinced about this Cuomo thing. These are the same women who lied on Emmett Till, the same women who said that this man did something to her in the elevator in Tulsa, burned down a whole town. These are the women, Amy Cooper, on and on, calling on people barbecuing and stuff like that. They know how to play the game, and this is what they do to get ahead. I'm sorry. And so I'm not fully on this thing about Cuomo. He is an attractive man. I work in corporate where I see how they play this game, and I'm not totally on this. He may, he might have did some flirting, but that's what they do. And then they turn around and weaponize it against the person. I'm not totally on this thing about Cuomo. I know what they do. We've seen it in history. And so that's my thoughts. Thank you, Solomon. Have a great weekend.
Okay. All right, Lola, you too. And I want to thank you for your call this morning on WRD. You know, it got bad in the black community, man. It got really, really bad. But it's a couple of differences that I see. And I think Lola's right. You know, people were walking around like zombies. She's absolutely right. A couple of differences I see. One, we never had anybody advocating for us when we was on drugs. Wasn't nobody like, oh, they're victims. They was like, lock them up, you know, and a lot of us did get locked up, essentially because we had drug problems, right? But, you know, this is different. You got people giving these people tents that cost hundreds of dollars. Kwesi, have you seen any pictures of this? Maybe I'll send you a picture. Have you seen any pictures of what's going on down there?
Yeah, you sent me pictures, and I've driven through there, you know, not on purpose. It just, my GPS took me that way, and I was like, what?
Locking your doors, rolling up.
Right. I was like, click, click, click. Okay, I'm just going, no. I was looking at these folks, and but the thing that was crazy was that it was so sad, like just people standing there just hover, like zombies, just standing there and, you know, not doing anything, just, you know, standing and still and wavering back and forth. And I was just, I could not believe what I was seeing. And then I saw some people, you know, doing God's work out there. One woman was giving, you know, food and stuff out the back of her, out the back of her van. But, you know, so I've seen it, and I've seen the pictures that you sent, and I've never seen, if this was predominantly black folks who were doing this, I think that we would be hearing and seeing a much different story than what we're seeing now.
Right. Yeah. I think, you know, it's just a lot. It's a lot. And you have people who are actually like, oh, we're advocates for the homeless. Well, this is not really a problem that is about homelessness. The homelessness is a byproduct of the addiction. They are living on Kensington Avenue to be close to the drugs they're addicted to. That's why they're doing it. You know, I started writing about this 20-some years ago. That's why I laugh at people who tell me I don't know what I'm talking about, right? I wrote a piece about it in the Philadelphia Weekly 20-some years ago. I was seeing these white kids who were begging downtown, and they seemed like they just showed up just, you know, all of a sudden. And so, you know, I began to interview these young people, and it turned out that they were on heroin. And they would go back and forth down to Kensington, and they'd beg downtown. People would give them money because they were white, right? They would go down to Kensington. They'd cop their drugs. They'd come back. They'd beg some more. They could not go home. Some of them had come, you know, from you know, other states to come here because the heroin in Philadelphia was the purest on the East Coast. And so this is the end result of that. This is not something that happened all of a sudden. This is not something that, you know, suddenly just cropped up. This is not something that is new. But the fact that they are now have taken the extra step of we are going to live on the street so that we can be closer to the drugs. Well, that's different. And so, yes, the city does have to clean that up, and they're going to do it on August 18th, and they are right to do it. And I'm sure they'll offer some services to those who want it. But again, you have to want it. But you cannot allow that in any community, man, where people are paying taxes to be protected. That's wrong. And so we're going to talk about it on the other side. But we are also going to talk with Deputy Police Commissioner Christine Coulter. She's going to join us to talk about what's going on with 911. Some people have talked about delays. She's here to talk about it. I'm Solomon Jones. We'll be right back.
Hey, WURD family, did you hear? It's official. The Colorectal Cancer Alliance just announced the new age for colon cancer screenings has been officially lowered to age 45 for everyone. If you are 45 or older, it's time to get screened. Go to wordradio.com and click on the Go to Know banner to register for your free at-home screening test. Did you know colon cancer is largely preventable with on-time screening? And there's a 90% survival rate when caught early. African Americans are 20% more likely to get colon cancer and about 40% more likely to die from it than most other groups. So for the next 3 months, you can go to wordradio.com and click on the Go to Know banner for your free at-home screening test. A screening navigator will contact you to ask a few questions and help you get screened. It's that simple. Again, just go to wordradio.com, click on the Go to Know banner, and fill out the form to request your free at-home screening test. Go to Know today.
Join WURD for the Summer of Freedom Neighborhood Love Tour. This year we celebrate West Oak Lane, Mantua, North, West, and South Philly. I'm Tiffany Bacon, and I'll broadcast live from a different neighborhood each Friday from 10 a.m. until 12 noon. Our next stop is South Philly at the Marian Anderson Rec Center, 740 South 17th Street on Friday, August 6th. Enjoy live performances, meet special guests, and stand with WURD. Be a part of the movement to amplify the voice of the Black community. Show your support and join or renew your WURD membership on site. That's the Summer of Freedom Neighborhood Love Tour at the Marian Anderson Rec Center from 10 a.m. until 12 noon on Friday, August 6th. WURD, showing love this summer.
The WURD Radio Neighborhood Love Tour is sponsored by Comcast and supported by Pico, Keystone First, and Ready Set Philly. Now, a traffic update on WURD Radio.
A crash on the 42 freeway, and this report is sponsored by ExpressPros.com. The 42 freeway northbound north of Coles Road is jammed, all by an accident. The right lane is blocked. It's backed up from College Drive, and an 18-minute delay through it. The Ben Franklin Bridge westbound heading to Philadelphia, one long line of cars. The right lane is taken up by road work. The Schuylkill eastbound slowing Montgomery Drive to Spring Garden Street, westbound City to Belmont. Westbound delays at 202, where the right lane is taken up by road work. 95 southbound delays Cottman Avenue to Bridge Street, and the Vine Expressway westbound slowing the Ben Franklin Parkway to the Schuylkill. Looking for a job? Contact Express Employment Professionals and be part of their national hiring event. With one application, Express connects you with multiple employers and never charges a fee. Go to ExpressPros.com, find your nearest office, and call Express today. For more traffic information, go to SigAlert.com. I'm Ann Evans with your Philadelphia area traffic.
It's Wake Up with WURD, hosted by Solomon Jones. Right now on WURD Radio,
96.1 FM
and 900 AM WURD.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD. I want to welcome you back to Wake Up with WURD, and joining us now, Deputy Police Commissioner Christine Coulter, to talk about what's going on with 911. Commissioner Coulter, good morning.
Good morning, sir. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Very good, thank you.
Good. So we've had some people called, several people in fact, and say that there are extended wait times when they call 911. Is that something that the police department has documented and has seen?
Yes, it is, and there are times where there is an extended wait. And our goal is always to answer all of our calls within 10 seconds. It doesn't happen. I'm going to be completely honest with you. We can't necessarily control the call volume in a different period, and we try to staff accordingly. But there are days, an average day lately, there's about 8,000 calls that come into our call center. They're not evenly distributed because, as you know, emergencies happen different times of the day, and they call when those things happen. But we're on pace to get nearly 3 million calls this year, and really working hard to try to ensure that we get to all of them. And we do, if someone stays on the line, we do answer every call. It's folks that, and rightfully so, they get frustrated if they call and nobody answers in 4 rings, 5 rings, they hang up and call again. Unfortunately, that moves them right to the back of the queue. It doesn't get anybody there quicker. So my first message is, please stay on the line. Your call will be answered. Hanging up and calling back only delays the response further. But calls do get answered, but there are times where it's just capacity to handle so many calls in a specific time period. And use for an example, I believe it was 2 days ago, our normal volume is about a call every 10 seconds. That day it was every 4 seconds. So you have to imagine, you know, the burden that it puts on the system and the people answering to try to get to everybody's call quickly. But I understand the frustration of callers, because to call 911 is a really big thing. Like, it has to be that something really terrible is happening and you're either witnessing it or being a victim of it. So everybody wants and expects that immediate call and would love to be able to deliver that. And we're working hard to gain staffing and to find efficiencies to make that happen. But it is a reality that people wait way longer than we would like them to wait, and I'm sure them in certain instances.
So in terms of what we have heard, it's not that the phone is ringing 4 or 5, 10, even 20 times. It's that they're waiting 15 minutes for someone to answer, and they're not hanging up. So why is that? Why is that happening now, and is that something that has been happening before?
It is not, and I don't have any individual instances. We track every single day the amount of time it takes us to handle calls, and we don't really show any incidents at all where it's been more than 2 minutes that a call wasn't answered. So I would love to, you know, have us investigate the folks that say they were on the line for 15 minutes. If they can give us their number, we'll go back and look and see what happened, if it fell into some, you know, means other than into our 911 system, if there's a flaw somewhere, because we track daily in 4-hour periods. We show all of our calls that come into radio and how long it takes for that call to be answered. And, you know, obviously the majority of them are answered in that 80% of that 10 seconds, 20 seconds. But in those high volume times when, like, something tragic happens, like the night of, say, the Amtrak disaster, the console blew up. There was thousands of calls coming in those same minutes. So those calls did. Obviously, they're all calling about the same thing, but they waited because there's only so many people answering the phones. But if you have folks that said they held on the line for 15 minutes and nobody answered, other than during the civil unrest in this last spring, where we know that there was a lot of calls that we didn't get to because of, you know, there was 18,000 calls came in at that same time period. But I would love to talk to those folks. If they give us their number, we can trace and find out what happened, because I'd hate to find out that there's some flaw that's not getting through if somebody is on the line with 911 and we're not recording it. So,
well, I'm sure they'll call after you get off the line.
That
I guess my question, and we'll get their numbers, but my question is there adequate staffing? Are there the right number of people there to answer these calls?
There are not at this time, and we're working diligently to have that happen. In fact, we just had a class graduate Friday with 17. We have another class going in Monday with 19 more. Still not enough. We exhausted the entire civil service list, and we expect to have a new one on August 18th. As you know, dispatchers as well as police are civil service positions, so people have to apply, test, and then we get a list from central personnel of the qualified candidates that applied for the job. And we went through, just last week, finished the entire list that we had. Now, we share that with fire. It's not our own list. You know, anybody applying to be call taker, dispatcher goes through that same system. But we recognized our need to grow our staffing even beyond getting to our old authorized strength. And in this last budget, the managing director's office secured 75 more positions for 911. So it is our hope that in a very short time period, as long as we have qualified candidates, that we will not just meet what our old authorized strength was, which was 277. But
Well, where are you now? If it was 277 before, where are you now?
Our current strength, we have 243 of the 277 that we were authorized for.
Okay. Now, it's still shift work, so people work, different shifts and switch shifts. Is that correct? Or do you have a steady last out?
We have a steady last out, and we have day work and 4 to 12 switch shifts.
Okay. Okay. Could that affect the effectiveness of people answering the phones? The fact that they, have to switch shifts and, the body rhythms. I mean, how does that affect the effectiveness of 911?
Well, all studies show that if you don't have a normal, regular schedule, that there is an effect on your body and your health. And we're exploring opportunities if we had a steady day work, steady 4 to 12, and steady last out, how that would work. But that would also create some people being forced on an extended shift where they wouldn't see their children and stuff like that. So there's a lot of variables because these folks are mothers and fathers and, people who have families to care for as well. So we are exploring it. We're exploring with human resources. So you just had a pay reevaluation done for those folks because they really do work tirelessly. And we do have an issue with retaining people. When you have to work shift work and weekends and holidays and you see an opportunity to work a job where you're 9 to 5, it's not unnormal or unnatural to gravitate to that job and say, hey, I can be with my family nights and weekends. So it does play a role. The people who are last out are volunteers. And if we could find the numbers to equally staff the time periods that we need, and as you know, there's volume of calls in different periods. So there's a high volume from 7 to 11 at night, also from 11 at night to 3 in the morning. Then there's a slow. So finding that right balance to have the right amount of people working, barring any crazy catastrophe or some major incident, to have enough people all the time to answer those calls. We also have an overring policy that when it begins to overring, we pull people from the tape room, we pull supervisors. We do everything we can to staff it. But as you know, some calls take 1 minute, some take close to an hour. We had an instance several years back where a call taker stayed on the line for 7 hours with someone who was contemplating suicide. They weren't taking any other calls, but that call was so important that you would obviously not want to, rush it along, and fortunately that person decided to live. So there are a lot of variables that play into how quickly a call can be answered, but we are certainly aware that we need more people there and that we need to really investigate what the call volume increases. Like, you look at numbers of January of this year, we had about 165,000 calls that month. Mm-hmm. Now we move forward to June, we have 226,000 calls in June. So a 62,000 call increase is significant. You're dealing with, something that's, we've always had a high call volume, but when you see 60,000 a month increase, there's reasons why more people are calling 911, and we really have to look into all the 911 calls earmarked necessarily for 911. A lot of it is on us to educate people on the 311 use because, unfortunately, our call takers can't see what that emergency is until they get to the person. So in some instances, some very serious crime could be waiting behind somebody who wants to report that trash wasn't picked up or that there's an abandoned house on their block, which would be better served by 311 and leave 911 for the emergency. So it's a very complex problem that we are working tirelessly on, but we would love to partner with, everybody to get that better.
So I guess my question is, if you are currently understaffed, what are you doing in the interim? Because, as you know, the shootings are up, the murder rate is up. People are in serious danger and they call 911 and nobody answers. So what are you doing in the interim until you can get the staffing to the point where it needs to be? What are you doing to deal with it now?
That's where we implement our overring system. We have supervisors, administrative personnel, people who work in the radio tape room reproduction that's needed for court, leave their primary job and jump on those calls to take the calls in. So the system has fail-safes, we also have mandatory overtime on weekends to try to handle the volume. When we had it every day, we had so much burnout that we couldn't get people in on the regular tours. It was just too much impact to have people working every day on a mandatory basis plus their regular tour. So we are doing everything within our power in that room to get folks to answer the calls. And like I said, the vast majority do still get answered in that 10 seconds. But when we're in that high volume area, anybody waiting on the line, even 10 seconds seems long. You know what I mean? Like it seems like that's an eternity when you're in an emergency.
Mm-hmm. Now, let me ask you this. Do the phone numbers of the people who are calling still come up? And if so, do addresses come up as well if they come from a house phone?
I believe that they do. They know they just switched to a Vesta system, and I will check to see if they come in the addresses as well. But the phone numbers do come in, and the majority of people now though only have cell phones, so they don't come up to addresses. Like I guess generationally, people use that cell phone now as their house phone.
Mm-hmm. So you can't tell like where the calls are coming from all the time.
No, we can't.
Mm-hmm. So in terms of the response times, are they different in different districts? I know the calls come in to 911 from all over the city. Are the response times different in different districts? Are you hearing that from people who call 911?
The response time for the police officer to show up or to answer the phone?
To answer the phone.
To answer the phone, no, because it's not segregated by any place that it's coming in from. The call comes in and we don't know until that person, especially when they're 90% on cell phones, they can say, I am, at this address in West Philadelphia or North Philadelphia or Northeast Philadelphia, but there's no way to know where they're coming from. And that's probably a good thing. I mean, because we take the calls in the order that they come in. We can't segregate parts of the city compared to other parts because, there could be a real emergency, a dire emergency. 911 is an emergency line, but some could be life or death, and some could be about an abandoned car. So they come in and we try to process them as quickly as possible and get them, whether they're going over to fire department for rescue or medical service, going to dispatch a police officer in a district, or some are just call for information or, other services.
In terms of next steps, so we know that some of these calls are taking much longer than they should. The information we're getting is people saying they were on the line for 15 minutes. Who do we direct them to? Who's accountable? Who's in charge of 911?
Our captain is Captain Ed Appleton. And every complaint that comes to us through, whether it's through a citizen, through a council person, we investigate every one to find out what happened. You know what I mean? Because it's that important to say, like, if we drop the ball or if there's a system error or whatever the cause is. So if we have someone, someone calls you today and says, I held on the line for 15 minutes and nobody answered, we absolutely want their information. We need to know that if you did not hang up and you hung on for 15 minutes and somebody didn't answer, something went terribly wrong, because all indications are that within 2 minutes, we're answering all the calls.
All right. Well, Commissioner Coulter, if we get that information, can we forward it to you?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. All right. Well, we will do that. I want to thank you so much for joining us this morning. Yes, go ahead.
You're welcome. And could you please get good contact numbers from the folks that we need to talk to, whether it's email or phone, so we can reach back out to them and try to resolve what happened and ensure that it doesn't happen in the future.
Will do. Will do. That's Philadelphia Police Department Deputy Commissioner Christine Coulter. Thank you so much for joining us this morning on WURD.
Thank you, sir. Have a great day.
All right, you too. We're going to go to break. On the other side, we're going to continue the show. I'm Solomon Jones. We'll be right back.
Hope Partnership Middle School offers a quality, subsidized independent school education to students and families in North Philadelphia. Located at 2601 North 11th Street, Hope offers small class sizes, personalized learning, a research-based curriculum, dedicated teachers, and a graduate support program, which supports students through high school graduation. They are currently accepting applications for 5th to 7th grade students for September. For more information, please contact them at info@hope-partnership.org.
The hottest place to hang out this summer is the Dell Music Center. The lineup is lit. Thursday, August 5th, 10. SWV and Drew Hill. Then on August 12th, Gregory Porter, Stokely, and Leela James. Then on Thursday, August 19th, Fresh Off versus the Isley Brothers. Performing all their greatest hits with Kelly Price and Carol Riddick. Get your tickets at the Dell box office and Ticketmaster.com. This is going to be an incredible season with Tank, SWV, Drew Hill, Gregory Porter, Stokely, Leela James, Carol Riddick, Kelly Price, and the Isley Brothers. For more information, log on to thedellmusiccenter.com.
Be there this Friday at the Summer Freedom Neighborhood Love Tour and stand with WURD Radio to amplify voices of the Black community as a digital 4WURD member for as low as $5 per month. And receive a free gift for signing up. See you on Friday and join Tiffany Bacon, 10 a.m. till noon at the Marian Anderson Recreation Center, 740 South 7th Street, or visit wordradio.com. Start or renew your 4WURD membership today. This is WURD Radio.
96.1 FM.
And 900 AM WURD Philadelphia.
Black Talk Media.
It's Wake Up with WURD. Hosted by Solomon Jones. Right now on WURD Radio.
96.1 FM.
And 900 AM WURD.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD. I want to welcome you back to Wake Up with WURD. Joining us now is Taylor Allen. She's Plan Philly's housing reporter, and she joins us to talk about her most recent article on Marian Anderson. Taylor, good morning.
Good morning, Solomon.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm ready for my weekend. I got weekend plans. I am just
okay.
ready.
All right. Look at you with plans.
Well, we got to do that before the Delta variant puts us back in the house.
I know. I know. Oh, my goodness. This is so crazy. This is so crazy. But, yeah, you're absolutely right. Get out while you can. Get your mental health together. You know, take your break because we all need it. So you wrote about Marian Anderson this week. Who's Marian Anderson?
Marian Anderson is the famed opera singer from, City of Brothers Love in South Philadelphia. Not only does she break ground as just being like a black opera singer and like work for civil rights, but on top of that, like her voice is undeniable. Like she is known as one of the greatest singers of all time. She's the first black person to ever perform at the White House when racist white people told her that she couldn't perform at Constitution Hall. She, sung at the Lincoln Memorial. Like, she is world renowned. And, Philly decided, it's time to give her a little bit more recognition. That's what the whole story is about.
Yeah. So the Academy of Music, apparently they're going to be doing a tribute. What's in the works?
Okay. Right. So what's in the works from the Marian Anderson Historical Society and Museum and a task force are going to make a statue of her on the north side of the Academy of Music. And what is, on top of it just being about Marian Anderson, which is amazing, it's the first statue of a historical black woman in Philadelphia, who's born and raised in Philadelphia, which when you first think about it, you're just like, really? In 2021? And then you're like, racism, and you're like, right.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And you know, it's funny because it makes me think about the Octavius Catto statue being the first statue of a black man, the first standalone statue of a specific black man. There is one statue of a black man in Philly. Of course, it's a statue of a slave, unnamed, on Kelly Drive. And so when you think about, you know, the history of it, Marian Anderson, absolutely a phenomenal person. So tell us a little bit about her her history and how she impacted this woman, Jillian Patricia Pirtle.
Right. So Jillian Pirtle, she's the CEO of the Museum Historical Society. She is also a singer herself, and she described being in awe back in the 1980s, her mother taking her to a concert at the Academy of Music and seeing Audrey Hepburn and Marian Anderson perform. And immediately she was like, I am in awe, like just enamored with this woman. And then she talked again about when she was 13, already being granted, you know, a fellow with Marian Anderson's name at the museum at the small age of 13. So you could tell like how much Jillian's talent is there. And then again, when she graduated from the University of Arts, which used to be the Philadelphia Music Academy, she graduated there and she realized, she was like, no, that I wanted to attend, but she couldn't because she was black. And she was like, I am in a lot of ways like her wildest dreams, right? Like not only like black women, she sees her as like, I am only capable, I'm only here today because of what Marian Anderson did is what represents. And I think that's emblematic, I would say, of most professional black people thinking of like, oh, I am here because of what people before us have done. And it was just like a very beautiful story that she shared with me and why she loves her so much.
Yeah. And so Jillian Patricia Pirtle, just so the audience knows, is also a black woman and executive officer of the National Historical Marian Anderson Residence Museum and Society. And so what is their involvement in getting the statue done?
Well, they've wanted this for a while. They've been wanting this for over like 25 years, right? But kind of like what we said before, for some reason, when you talk to like Philadelphia, the art world or the historical world, like just the emphasis on blackness hasn't been a priority, for lack of a better term. But they are able to do it this time around, half because, you know, let's be honest, after George Floyd, there's been more of an interest in protecting like blackness and black art and black history. Also, the museum experienced extensive flooding last year, and there's already been fundraising to do some repairs. And they were like, actually, at this point, so many people are, you know, flooding us anyway with new interests. This is the perfect time to also pursue a statue. And so that's how they're doing it. But yeah, they've wanted to do this for about 25 years, but only really got the momentum to do so within like the past year.
So Marian Anderson, of course, you know, just a phenomenal singer. What did she do in terms of civil rights? What did she do for civil rights?
Well, this is an act of just her being a pioneer there. But even beyond that, like she spoke to the UN about treatment of Black Americans. She went across the world to talk about like how unfair certain segregation laws. Like, and she also had a bit of a relationship with Eleanor Roosevelt because, you know, of that Constitution Hall fiasco when she was barred from performing there, and Eleanor Roosevelt was like, "Oh no, I don't really support this," and actually supported her singing at the Lincoln Memorial instead. Not necessarily half of the protest, but also half because like people wanted to see her. So she was very much just like, not only am I the best because she is, but she also made a point with that platform to speak about hey, these are the injustices that are happening, and you need to listen to me because I already have this platform. And she did that, again, like in the 20th, early 20th century. And so that in itself is remarkable.
Yeah, absolutely. We're talking with Taylor Allen from Plant Philly about her latest on Marian Anderson. I'm curious in terms of
Hello?
I think as a Black woman when you see and learn about this history through your reporting.
I'm sorry. Can you repeat the question? It's cut out a little
Yeah.
bit.
What do you think as a Black woman when you learn about this history of somebody like a Marian Anderson through your reporting?
Well, I mean, it's two parts, two prongs. Obviously, there is an aspect of I am proud, I love this representation, this is beautiful, but it's also a bit of sadness. You know, this woman is excellent, and we know this, right? But I find it a little disheartening that we have to be excellent to even get any of our flowers. Like, you have to go above and beyond and still, like, not get the same opportunities. And I'm glad that she paved the way because there's people like me, right? Absolutely. But it's sadness, like, during that time, like, was she able to accept all of her flowers? And no, the answer is no. And that's just, I don't know, it's a little bittersweet for me.
Yeah. And so the museum, of course, is, in need of money. So this museum for Marian Anderson, you talked with Councilman Kenyatta Johnson about it. What's going on with the museum, and what did he say?
He presented about a $100,000 grant to the museum last week. Again, that's what I was talking about when the museum experienced pretty extensive flooding during the height of the pandemic. You know, they were already struggling with getting people in because nobody can come out, and then the flooding. And so he presented a $100,000 grant to help with those repairs. He's super excited, and when I spoke to him, he was just saying, like, this is a really great opportunity for people just to have pride in their neighborhood. There's arts all around the city, but that season, Philadelphia is known for art, but the Blackness aspect of it and being in South Philly, in people's neighborhood, he was just like very much like, this is the place that people can have a sense of pride from. And it was a nice occasion.
Yeah. And so to have that statue at the Academy of Music, which of course, that's South Broad Street, so it's South Philly, right near the neighborhood where she grew up. So we're looking forward to seeing that. Is there a time frame for when the statue will be up and available for people to see?
Not quite yet. There's still some, I don't want to call them hiccups, but things they have to do. They still have to choose an artist. And because it's at the Academy of Music, they also have to get the green light from the Philadelphia Historical Commission and raise additional money. So far, they have about $200,000. And the statue itself will cost anywhere between $500,000 and $700,000, and also they want to get more money just for like regular endowment to keep up the statue in the museum. So they have some fundraising to do, but I have spoken to the historical commission, the Philadelphia Historical Commission, and the Art Commission, and everyone's excited about it. It's right now getting their money up, but so far they're getting it pretty quickly. They got $200,000 in like a matter of a few months, so. There's a lot of momentum there.
Mm-hmm. If people want to give, is there a place where people can go to give, to contribute to this?
Yes, there is. There's multiple places, actually, that you can go to the museum site directly, and you can, go to the museum site directly. That is like the best place to just do it there. And if you want to support the task force, that's also a link on their personal website, the museum site.
Okay. All right. Well, Taylor, thank you so much for all your phenomenal work that you've done with Plant Philly. And we appreciate you joining us on the show weekly. We certainly look forward to hearing more from you.
All right. Thank you so much, Tom.
All right. All right. So that's Taylor Allen. She is, of course, the Planned Phillies housing reporter, and she joined us to talk about her most recent article on a powerful tribute to Marian Anderson. We want to hear from you. Give us a call, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio, 215-634-8065. I am excited about the statue of Marian Anderson, and just all that she's done. During the time of Marian Anderson, you could be a black performer and just perform, or you could be a black performer and make a difference. And Marian Anderson, Kawesa, was one of those people who made a difference. She did everything possible to make sure that there were some doors open for people coming behind her. And so we are excited, man. We are excited about Marian Anderson. Every time I hear the name Marian Anderson, I think about my daughter, my oldest daughter, Adrian. When she was young, she was in a little daycare where they learned some lessons. It was like a preschool. And she came home. She said, Marian Anderson was the first black woman to sing at the Lincoln Memorial. And I still, every time I hear that name, I think about her as a little girl saying that, like she might have been 4 or 5. So, huge impact. And of course, we're going to be at the Marian Anderson Recreation Center, I believe at the Marian Anderson Library today. Kawesa, correct me if I'm wrong. Where we're going to be today?
Yep, we will. We'll definitely be there for the Neighborhood Love Tour, Summer Freedom. Tiffany Bacon will be there at 10 a.m.
Yeah, the Marian Anderson Recreation Center from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. So make sure you check out that. So 215-634-8065 is the number. That's 215-634-8065. That is the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio, and let us know where you are on these various things we're talking about on this morning show. 215-634-8065 is the number that you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. We're talking about a number of things, including our top 3 stories, which are story number 1, vaccinations are up, and so are infections from COVID because of the Delta variant. Of course, the White House kind of celebrating the momentum for more vaccines, but, people have to make their own decision. And so we will see what happens going forward. One thing that they are saying is that if more people get vaccines, we can get a hold on this surge in COVID in the next few weeks. Story number 2, the Justice Department, of course, launched a civil rights investigation of the Phoenix Police Department yesterday, looking at whether police use excessive force, treat minorities differently, and deal properly with the disabled and homeless. And speaking of homelessness, story number 3, a few weeks back, the city was going to clear out the homeless encampment on Kensington Avenue, but a Villanova professor who claims to be a homeless advocate threatened to sue, and the city backed off. Well, now the city has rescheduled the clear out for August 18th. And I'm here for it. Nobody could shoot drugs, have sex, and defecate on the sidewalk in Chestnut Hill. They shouldn't be able to do that in Kensington either. So we're going to be watching that very carefully. And next up on the other side of the break, we'll be talking with Akbar Hassan. Akbar Hassan, of course, a veteran financial consultant. He joins us every week to talk money and to answer your questions. He's going to join us on the other side of this break. I am Solomon Jones. This is WURD Radio. We'll be right back.
Enterprise Exterminators, located at 4943 Wayne Avenue, has been in business since 1976 and can eliminate whatever pest problems you have. Enterprise specializes in bed bugs, lanternflies, and termites. Call for your free termite inspection today. Do-it-yourself kits are available. Enterprise Exterminators, servicing Philadelphia, Delaware, and New Jersey. Call now, 215-849-7070. Ask us about the WURD and senior discounts.
Join WURD for the Summer of Freedom Neighborhood Love Tour. This year we celebrate West Oak Lane, Mantua, North, West, and South Philly. I'm Tiffany Bacon, and I'll broadcast live from a different neighborhood each Friday from 10 a.m. until 12 noon. Our next stop is South Philly at the Marian Anderson Rec Center, 740 South 17th Street on Friday, August 6th. Enjoy live performances, meet special guests, and stand with WURD. Be a part of the movement to amplify the voice of the Black community. Show your support and join or renew your WURD membership on site. That's the Summer of Freedom Neighborhood Love Tour at the Marian Anderson Rec Center from 10 a.m. until 12 noon on Friday, August 6th. WURD, showing love this summer.
The WURD Radio Neighborhood Love Tour is sponsored by Comcast and supported by Pico, Keystone First, and Ready Set Philly. The Black Words Book Club. WURD Radio's conversation on books that explore the African American experience through social, economic, and environmental justice issues. Tune in the second Tuesday of every month on Evening Words with Nick Taliaferro, 4 p.m. till 7 p.m. The Black Words book for September is Race Against Time, The Politics of a Darkening America by Keith Boykin. Be sure to listen live as Nick Taliaferro will hold a contest for a giveaway book bundle that consists of 4 titles from Kensington's Defina's Authors of Color's newest release. Don't miss it, Tuesday, September 14th on Evening Words with Nick Taliaferro. Attention for WURD members. Get your copy and receive a 20% discount when you purchase at Harriet's Bookstore or Hakeem's Bookstore. For more information on the Black Words Book Club, visit wordradio.com. The Black Words Book Club is sponsored by Defina. Defina is an imprint of Kensington Publishing Corporation, America's independent publisher, concentrating on authors of color. Now, a traffic update
on WURD Radio.
Delays on the Schuylkill westbound for your Friday commute, and this report is sponsored by ExpressPros.com. The Schuylkill westbound barely moving Broad Street to Penrose Avenue. The highway down to 1 lane due to road work. Westbound again delays University to South, and again to 202 where the right lane is taken up for sinkhole repairs. Eastbound delays 476 to the Conshohocken Curve, and again the Boulevard to Spring Garden Street. 95 southbound barely budging Compton to Bridge Street. The highway down to 3 lanes due to road work. The Vine Expressway eastbound slowing the Ben Franklin Parkway to Broad Street. Westbound the Ben Franklin Parkway to the Schuylkill. Looking for a job? Contact Express Employment Professionals and be part of their national hiring event. With one application, Express connects you with multiple employers and never charges a fee. Go to expresspros.com, find your nearest office, and call Express today. For more traffic information, go to sigalert.com. I'm Ann Evans with your Philadelphia area traffic.
It's Wake Up with WURD, hosted by Solomon Jones.
Good morning.
Right now on WURD Radio.
96.1 FM.
And 900 AM WURD.
Don't do it. There's other ways to celebrate your anniversary other than going in debt. The fact that it's credit card debt tells me it's not any debt that was, needed. Past performance is not indicative of future results. So with that qualifier, don't walk, run.
And now, Akbar Hassan, only on Wake Up with WURD.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media. Akbar Hassan is a personal financial advisor counseling individuals and small businesses. He has 3 decades of corporate finance experience in 2 of the world's largest law firms. He unwraps the mystery of money, offering practical, insightful, and easy to understand guidance. Akbar, good morning.
Good morning, Solomon. How are you?
Man, I'm tired. Tired, bruh.
Sick and tired.
But you know what? We just finished another Listening to the Streets cohort, man. And so, we are excited about that. So it's a good tired. It's tired from working with these brothers, man. You, of course, came up, talked to them about finance this week, dropped a whole packet on them about, taking care of your financial well-being in life. And so we appreciate that, and we appreciate you. And we just finished up last night.
Yeah, these guys are some smart guys, man. These guys are some smart guys. And I enjoy the fact that it's weaving the whole financial literacy into what you always talk about before, which is, your character, which is conflict resolution. Because conflict resolution and your character affects your finances.
That's right.
Right? That's part of financial literacy. It affects your wealth, right?
Yep.
So, I love weaving that into the character building, into the conflict resolution. And I think it's to see their eyes open that say, listen, you decide to handle a situation at work a different way, then, either it's going to affect you negatively throughout your life, it's going to follow you, or it's going to affect you positively, and that affects your finances. And to see their eyes open, but these guys are very smart, and so, we just, I'm glad that we're doing what we're doing, giving some direction, revising their foundation, right? Because, gun violence, there's some people who you can put a box of guns in front of them and they will not touch it. So what's the difference, right? So, we're just changing their lives and changing their foundation so that they, make a positive difference to themselves and to the people around them and to the community.
Yeah, and we're excited, absolutely excited about the work that we've been able to do. We start our next cohort on August 30th. So we got a little bit of time to rest up, but not much. So August 30th, we start our next cohort. And
that's like
we're
tomorrow,
excited.
Right?
That's like tomorrow, man. I'm trying to I got to get my rest now. But absolutely love these guys, man, and look forward to continuing to work through them, with them through the mentoring process. So, of course, we got to talk about finance, man, because, that is what makes the world go round. And we got another question from another listener this week. Akbar, what's our question this week?
The question is, I was reviewing my car insurance policy and realized I could save some money by changing my insurance deductible. Is this something you recommend? If not, what other ways can I find money in my budget? That's a very, very good question. As you know, when you have insurance as a deductible, right? And the deductible is the amount you pay if you have to file a claim. There's an amount you pay before the insurance kicks in, right? So, if you get into an accident and let's say the repairs are $2,000 and your deductible is $500, you have to pay the first $500, right? So there are some people who they say, you know what? I can afford to pay a higher deductible. Instead of paying $500, I can pay $1,500. All right. So by doing that, by paying a higher deductible, you can lower your monthly insurance amount that you pay. All right.
Okay.
And for some people, it's worth it if you can afford to do it. All right. If you can afford to do it, it's something to explore with someone who provides insurance. But if you can barely pay the insurance, definitely do not reduce your deductible. Okay, or increase your deductible. Sorry.
Okay.
Increase your deductible. Yeah. Okay. Don't increase your deductible if you can barely pay the insurance, because that means that you can barely pay the deductible. Okay. If you are insurance prone, or always filing a claim, I would not do it. I would not do it. But alternatively, if you have a lot saved, and you rarely get into accidents, then it's something to think about, to say, okay, I'm gonna pay any small claims up to $1,000 if I ever have them. I will pay them myself, and that way I can my monthly insurance will be lower. I can save some a month, and and that turns into a lot of money. Maybe $500 a month, because the amount you save isn't that much, but it's enough. Pennies equal dollars. But it's definitely something to explore. I'm thinking about creative ways to save money, because, everyone has their budget, right? And everyone's looking for ways to cut costs. Obviously, cutting back on insurance or increasing your deductible is one. But, I'm thinking about having a holiday where you don't buy gifts. That's probably something that most of us could do, because everyone say, you know what, I have my budget's tight, I have no money to save. But I think people traditionally always buy gifts, whether it's for birthdays or whatever. I think that if you can go a year, just have a year where you say, you know what, I'm going to let everyone know I'm straightening up my financial house. This year is going to be a year off with no gifts, with no holidays. You can save a lot of money. You can save a lot of money. The key is that let people know, listen, I'm not, I love you, I'll give you a card or whatever, but Christmas, a whole nine, from January to December, no gifts, no one. I'm taking a break from holidays, from holiday shopping, from birthday shopping, for everything. You do that, you can save a ton of money. Because I think that
people gonna be mad at each other though.
Let your circle know. Listen, and that's the thing about finances is that you want to be around people, and a lot of times we're not, but you want to be around people who you are yoked with financially. Okay, so so they'll get it, and you let people know. Listen, I'm trying to. My financial house needs to be straightened up. All right, you end up buying gifts for everybody. You're gonna be in the poorhouse, right? All the time. When you're living, bobbing your head above water, you need to straighten your house. So we talk about all the time about the budget, creating your budget. How much do I have left over? Where do I have to cut? And a lot of times it's that entertainment, it's that it's that extra gravy that you have that you use for gifts and things like that. And because we're a capitalist country, we have all these holidays. We have Mother's Day, we have Father's Day, we have this day, we have this day, we have this day, we have this day, and all those holidays are there to juice the economy. Okay?
Yeah, they are. They are. But I'm telling you, especially Valentine's. Now, you going to do that on Valentine's Day, Akbar?
Well, I can do it. I can do it. Listen. Listen, Valentine's Day.
You better have them flowers. I know that.
You better get a flower, not flowers, a flower. Get a half a bottle. Go to the hotel and get one of those little bottles of shampoo. Make a little bubble bath. Free. All right. Turn on some music. And there you go. All right. Where's my gift?
You better have the flowers, man. You talking about. But you know what? When I think about gift giving, what I think about is the one gift that everybody still has. Solomon will be 17 in September. When he was a baby, we had a portrait taken of my wife holding him, and it's beautiful, a portrait of the two of them. And we didn't have a whole lot of money that Christmas, so I said, we're going to take these pictures and we're going to frame them. So I went to, it might have been Big Kmart, bought frames for all of the pictures, had them, and personalized each picture, put like some biblical language in it, like Solomon and Carolyn beget Solomon, and Solomon and Levita beget Solomon, and we gave it to everybody and personalized them to everybody, how we were connected as family. And it's the only gift that I've ever given to everybody where I know that everybody still has it, because it's still up on everybody's wall or on their mantle or wherever they put it 17 years later. And it was, the most inexpensive gift that we ever gave, but it was a personal gift that everybody still has.
Yeah. So, and that's good advice too, because there's a ways to, if you can still give a gift, but not go out of the way and spend, make it personalized, cheap, personalized, and personalized always better. But that's where you can make a big dent in your finances, with the gift giving. Okay. Yeah. That's just one of the ways you can do it. Obviously you can turn the thermostat, adjust the thermostat so you're not burning so much gas or electric during the winter and summer months. Obviously, some people can because of the medical conditions. But if you can, that's something you can do. Those things make big cuts into your budget. So if you explore those items, I think that you can, just like the money you can save by increasing your deductible, you can save $20 to $30 to $40 to $50, sometimes $100 a month by cutting back on these things and save a lot. It's right there. So when people say, I have nothing to cut, you have something to cut. You have to look a little harder, and you have to be willing to make the cut.
That's great advice. That is great advice. That, of course, Akbar Hassan. Akbar Hassan is a personal financial advisor, counseling individuals and small businesses. He has 3 decades of corporate finance experience at 2 of the world's largest law firms. He unwraps the mystery of money, offering practical, insightful, and easy to understand guidance. Akbar, how do people get in touch with you?
I'm on Comcast. I'm on email at akbar-hassan@comcast.net and Twitter at AKHassanReal.
All right. All right. Well, thank you as always for joining us this morning. Have a great weekend. Rest up, man. We got more work to do later on this month.
Yes, we do. Talk to you later, Solomon.
All right. Talk to you later. So 215-634-8065 is the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio and let us know where you are on these various things we are talking about on this morning show. 215-634-8065 is the number that you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. We're talking about a number of things, including our top 3 stories, which include story number 1, the White House touting progress in vaccinations in recent days, noting that over the past 24 hours, the U.S. recorded more than 864,000 vaccinations, the highest daily rate since July 3rd, and praised momentum for vaccine mandates on Thursday. A lot of people, that's controversial, man. I want to know what you think about that. Should your employer be able to mandate you to get the vaccine? I want to know what you think. Give me a call. 215-634-8065 is the number that you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. Story number 2, the Justice Department launching a civil rights investigation of the Phoenix Police Department yesterday, looking at whether police use excessive force, treat minorities differently, and deal properly with the disabled and the homeless. And, of course, story number 3, a few weeks back, the city was going to clear out the homeless encampment on Kensington Avenue, but a Villanova professor who claims to be a homeless advocate threatened to sue, and the city backed off. Well, now the city has rescheduled that clear out for August 18th, and I'm here for it. No one can shoot drugs, have sex, and defecate on the sidewalk in Chestnut Hill. They shouldn't be able to do it in Kensington either. Get them out of those tents, off of those sidewalks, and turn the neighborhood back over to the taxpayers. That's where I'm at. And, you know, if you're an advocate for the homeless and you think it's right to have drug users camped out on the sidewalk, we'll take them to your neighborhood. Put them in front of your house, right? Have a million dirty needles on the street, and, you know, human waste and everything else, and everything that comes with it, and, you know, see how you like it. And if you don't want to do that, then let's do the right thing. Let's help them stop using, help them start living, and then we can get them off the streets. I want to hear from you. Give me a call. 215-634-8065 is the number that you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. 215-634-8065 is the number that you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. Joshua Cosby's on line 1. Good morning, Jay. What's going on, man?
Hey, what's up? Good morning, Mr. Solomon.
How you doing?
I'm doing great, fantastic this morning. I heard that Brother Akbar was on, man, and I have so much to offer. He came in. I ain't mean to take over the class with him, but that man, he provided us with this pamphlet for financial aid. Like, you really got the man, that Mr. Robert Paul, that came in yesterday to help us out with finding a career, not a job, a career. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, y'all, listen, applause to y'all, you hear me? Applause to y'all.
Thank you, man.
I'll call y'all every Friday just to let the world know I appreciate y'all, you hear me? Like, honestly, man. Like, y'all say gifts. Y'all, you, Akbar, all y'all gentlemen, y'all give us gifts every day by the knowledge and the care that y'all give us, yo. Like, honestly, I couldn't ask for a better gift. I couldn't ask for a better friend than y'all for listening to me. Honestly, I couldn't tell all of y'all that yesterday because I know how I get. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I ain't trying to get all like that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I just want to let y'all know I appreciate y'all. Like, trust me, you will hear from me every week. I'll text your phone. Like, I'm here. Like, y'all help me. And just like the Kensington situation, let's go back with, they got to want the help too, Mr. Solomon. We can't just go out there and be like, oh, yeah, we're going to snatch you up. Come on, bro. Some of them don't want that help. Some of them just gave up on life, and it's sad. It's sad that they even think they giving up on life. But like I told you inside the program, I'm here with you. I stand behind you 100%. Yeah, you need my help.
We got you, man. We got you. Thanks, Jay. And of course, you're gonna be hearing from us. I told you, you know what we plan to do with you. So we're looking forward to continuing to work with you, man.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to working with y'all. Honestly, I appreciate y'all. Y'all really give me another chance at life, and that's kind of hard to do. You know what I mean?
Thank you, Jay.
Enjoy your weekend. Have a productive day. You'll always hear from me, Mr. Sullivan. Thank you. I appreciate you.
Thank you, brother. We appreciate you too. Of course, Jay, one of the people who participated in our last Listening to the Streets cohort, man. We value the relationships more than anything else. We're building something. We're building a movement where, you know, we started, but we are looking for these younger men to take it over and to take it into places where we might not be as effective, but they can. It is absolutely about that, and so we appreciate you, Jay. Thank you, man, and all of the young men who are participating in this movement, because it's so much more than just a program. On the other side of this break, we are going to hear from Kawesa. She gonna bless us with a song on the other side. I cannot wait. It is Friday's Song with Kawesa on the other side. I am Solomon Jones. This is WRD. We'll be right back.
James Schuler Boxing Gym presents Round the Way Rumbling, an amateur boxing event. Saturday, August 14th at 750 Brooklyn Street in West Philadelphia off 42nd and Lancaster Ave. First bout is at 3 p.m. Purchase tickets for $20 at jamesschulerboxing.com or call 215-399-7483. That number again is 215-399-7483. Let's get ready to rumble! In Philly, COVID-19 vaccines are safe, free, and effective. It protects you from contracting the COVID-19 virus. Vaccines do not change your DNA or contain microchips. Caribbean people are not immune to the deadly virus without COVID-19 vaccine shots, and it does not affect your immigration status. Join us for our back-to-school COVID-19 vaccination resource fair on Saturday, August 21st from 11 to 3 p.m. at Sturgis Recreation Center in Albany. Free food, school supplies, and vaccines. Visit www.caribbeancommunityinphiladelphia.com, Facebook or Instagram page.
I would like to play a little tune I just composed not so long ago.
Hey family, do you like hearing the best jazz selections aired by three of the best jazz announcers in Philadelphia? Well, tune in to 96.1 FM,
96.1 FM,
and 900 AM, WURD Radio, independent black media for Freedom Sounds of Jazz.
Freedom Sounds of Jazz.
Hear Freedom Sounds of Jazz 10 p.m. Fridays with your hosts in rotation, Aquila, Jonathan Bay, and David Fritz. That's 10 p.m. Friday nights on WURD 96.1 FM and 900 AM Independent Black Media.
You're waking up
with WURD,
hosted by Solomon Jones.
Good morning.
Right now on WURD Radio,
96.1 FM
and 900 AM WURD.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM and 96.1 FM WURD. I want to remind you that Penn Medicine is a WURD sponsor. The ability to change the world starts with seeing a new one. Seeing things this way has always been the way at Penn Medicine, and has led to ongoing medical breakthroughs. It's how the impossible is made possible with technology that enables the detection of hidden tumors by making them glow. It's how the never been done is done with uterine transplants that give previously infertile women the ability to now give birth. It's how the unimaginable becomes reality through genetic treatment that restores vision to the blind. And it's what makes the unbelievable believable, as modified mRNA technology has enabled the development of COVID-19 vaccines in record time. At Penn Medicine, the eyes of medical professionals are wide open to the possibilities, and the future is in focus more clearly than ever before. Breakthroughs begin at pennmedicine.org. And now it's time for Friday Song with Kawesa. Kawesa, have you decided what you're going to sing this week?
I have, yes.
Okay.
It's the song, I'm sure that a lot of people know it, but it's What a Wonderful World. And that's Satchmo, Louis Armstrong, Louis Armstrong. But that's the song that I have chosen for today.
Okay.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue, clouds of white, the bright blessed day, the dark sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people passing by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry, I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Oh, yeah, yeah.
I just closed my eyes and just said, you know, you just took me there. It's just beautiful. Thank you so much. What made you choose that song this week?
You know, honestly, the reason for choosing it, and it's interesting how, you know, memories work and why certain people might, you know, come up to your mind. And so, you know, my mother has had a really great friend, and she was almost like a second mother to my brother and I, and to actually many kids in the community. She passed away several years ago, but that was a song that she really loved. And she came to my mind actually because we've been talking about you know, homelessness and evictions and things like that. And while I don't always talk about it, you know, my family, we were homeless at one point, and she took us in. She gave us a roof. We lived with her. And so I thought about her, and the song had been just in my mind all week, and I just wanted to share it, and I know that, you know, she heard that, but I just, that's why I chose the song.
That's beautiful. So, man, oh man, oh man. And you know, the issue of homelessness, it's a hard issue. Because so many people experience it, and it's funny because one of the things we've been talking about, you know, in our cohorts with listening to the streets, is that a lot of you have young men and young women who might have aged out of foster care, or who, don't have the best situation at home, who are, they're moving from place to place because they're essentially homeless, right? They don't necessarily have any place to go, and those kids absolutely need help, man. And it's deep where help comes from and how you remember help later on in life, and how you can reflect on it, and it makes you feel good, it makes you smile, it makes you feel that there's hope when there are people who can extend that kind of kindness. It's real. So thank you so much for that and for sharing that. It's beautiful. 215-634-8065 is the number that you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio, and let us know where you are on these various things we're talking about on this morning's show. So Derek from North Philly is on line 3. Go ahead, Derek.
Look, Kuwait said, that's why I came up with Love, Peace, Blessing, and Prosperity, because of songs like that.
Yep. Go ahead. Make your point, Derek.
Brother Solomon, great job Kuwait did, and also, it's songs like that gave me the inspiration I feel from God when I give a shout out, Love, Peace, Blessings, and Prosperity, because that song plays as a soundtrack in my heart, let alone my mind. And I have to give credit to you because you put it together in the sense that we're able to hear it, and you're just doing a fantastic job with the way how you're trying to get things going in the city, and I just appreciate you for that, man. And if I could give you any advice, I would say this: whenever it gets to be too much, or you don't know what to do, ask yourself, what would Jesus do in this situation?
Amen.
Thank you, Brother Solomon.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that, and thank you for those words of wisdom. Certainly much appreciated. Let's go to Shakumba from South Philly on line 1. Go ahead, Shakumba.
Hi, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm calling because I'm concerned about the fact that City Hall need to be open. Okay? If our unvaccinated children can be told to return to school,
how
then
about
it's time
that?
for City Hall to be reopened. Because that's the seat of our government. They've been passing hundreds of bills, and we have not had a chance to vent or talk about seriously, and we don't even know the impact they're going to have on us in the near future.
Shakumba, can you turn down your radio, please? Because we're getting an echo. That's all right.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. It's time, like
go
I
ahead.
said, for City Hall to be open so we can have our government back, our city government back. I don't know any city that's been closed down as long as we've been closed down. And since many of them have already got vaccinated, if they didn't, they can get vaccinated. But it's time for City Hall to be open and stop passing bills and stuff that we don't even have time to invent or talk about. And they've had an opportunity to pass hundreds of bills. I don't even know what the impact these bills would be on us. But I don't think a City Hall shouldn't be closed any longer. If you can ask businesses and restaurants and fly on planes and do all this other kind of stuff, then why in the hell is City Hall not open?
No, I think you make an excellent point. And I can't disagree with it at all. And I want to thank you for making that point.
And tell everybody, get on the phone and call City Hall. Call them people and tell them, go back to work. I mean, they're sitting on the double on my taxes. Damn. It's time for them to go back to work. You know, you send the kids back, and our kids are unvaccinated, and you're going to tell them to go to school? What more vulnerable population do we have than our children? And we seem to be ignoring them. Okay, that's what I'm saying.
I hear you, and what you're saying is not wrong.
They need to get off there. Don't tell me my children can be sent back to school, and it's safe for them to go back to school, but it's not safe for you to go back to City Hall.
All right, I want to thank you for your call this morning on WURD. I can't disagree. You know, it's an excellent point, and I want to thank you for making it this morning on WURD Radio, 215-634-8065. Well, we'll ask Councilwoman Gim when she gets on. She's going to join us at 9:40 today. So we'll talk with her about that and a number of other issues. If you want to get on, it's 215-634-8065. That is the number you can call to get in. Let's talk to D from Winfield on line 2. Go ahead, D.
Good morning, Solomon. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm wonderful. I'm blessed. As far as this homeless situation, I don't think that it's really a problem. Of course, Kensington is a problem. You know, when these people went downtown, they went crazy down there. We got to get them out of here. We got to get them off the Parkway. You know, but the city owns so many houses that's falling apart, which they can fix them up a little bit and just put people in them. You know what I mean? You give a person a house and a job, and he's or him or she is on her way. It's easy. It's really not that hard of a problem to fix. You know what I mean? Like, turn these old houses into living environments so people can live. I mean, it's that easy. I mean, they deteriorating, they falling apart. You know what I mean? Give them away. Let people live. You know, it's that easy. Thank you. Have a great day.
All right. Well, I wish it was that easy, but you got some tangled titles for some houses that are privately owned, so that's part of the problem. And then, you know, with the houses that the city owns, you know, do you make them? How much money does it cost to make those houses livable for people? So, you know, I don't know. I think that there's a lot. When somebody is on heroin, right, and that's what's happening in Kensington. This is not something that's happening just because, you know, people have fallen on hard times. That's a different issue, right? But if you're on heroin, that becomes your job. That's what you do all day long. You get money to get the next fix because your body is physically dependent on that drug. And so how do you take care of a house? Real rap, like how do you take care of a house when you are, you know, strung out on heroin to the point where you're living in a tent on Kensington Avenue and defecating in the street? How do you take care of a home, right? And so I think that it's a deep issue, man. Honestly, I think you got to get the people off drugs, you know, first before you do anything else. You gotta help people to get off drugs if they want to get off drugs before you talk about putting them into a house where you can't even take care of yourself. How are you going to take care of a house? You know, and I know that housing first is a strategy, but I think that along with that, you know, you have to be able to give people the services that they need in order to take care of themselves. So that's what I think, and I want to know what you guys think. So you can certainly tell me, give me a call. 215-634-8065 is the number that you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. We're going to go to break. On the other side, we're going to continue to take your calls. Reginald from Southwest is up first, and then it's right back to the rest of you at 215-634-8065. I'm Solomon Jones. We'll be right back.
Philadelphia residents can stay cool this summer with Parks and Rec. Between public pools and spray grounds, there are over 150 free places to cool down and have fun this summer. Spray grounds are open from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. daily. Pool hours vary by location. Visit phila.gov/PPR to find a pool or spray ground near you.
Tune in this Sunday at 2 p.m. for the Gastrology Conversation Show, providing information and understanding about your colon health with Dr. Stephen Blake.
Be there this Friday at the Summer Freedom Neighborhood Love Tour and stand with WURD Radio to amplify voices of the Black community as a digital 4WURD member for as low as $5 per month. And receive a free gift for signing up. See you on Friday and join Tiffany Bacon, 10 a.m. till noon at the Marian Anderson Recreation Center, 740 South 7th Street, or visit wordradio.com. Start or renew your 4WURD membership today. The WURD Radio newsletter.
Keeping you informed, engaged, and connected.
Sign up by visiting wordradio.com. Scroll to the bottom of the page and type your email address under Connect with Us. You'll receive the latest information on WURD Radio. Messages from our president and CEO, Sarah Lomax Reese. Exclusive articles and multimedia content and resources.
Stay informed
with the WURD Radio newsletter. This is WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD Philadelphia.
Streaming live on wordradio.com, the WURD Radio app.
Or watch live on WURD TV via Facebook and YouTube. WURD Radio, independent black media. It's Wake Up with WURD, hosted by Solomon Jones. Right now on WURD Radio,
96.1 FM
and 900 AM WURD.
Circuits are busy.
Here's what's trending.
Yo, that's crazy.
On Wake Up with WURD.
Fans of the legendary game show Jeopardy! And of former Reading Rainbow host LeVar Burton are crying foul after it was revealed that a new permanent host has been chosen, and it isn't Burton. Burton reacted by saying, "I have said many times over these past weeks that no matter the outcome, I've won. The outpouring of love and support from family, friends, and fans alike has been incredible. If love is the ultimate blessing, and I believe that it is, I am truly blessed beyond measure."
And the eldest daughter of hip-hop producer Dr. Dre, LaTanya Young, recently revealed that she's been living out of a rented SUV, working as a DoorDash driver while her children stay with friends. She was told by her father's attorney that because she spoke disparagingly about her father in the past, he will not give her any money. Young also noted that she hasn't seen her father in 18 years.
And New Jersey native and track and field legend Carl Lewis is a 9-time Olympic gold medalist who had plenty to get off his chest after the U.S. men's relay team failed to medal in a 4th straight Olympics. Lewis tweeted, "The U.S. team did everything wrong in the men's relay. The passing system is wrong, athletes running the wrong legs, and it was clear that there was no leadership. It was a total embarrassment and completely unacceptable for a USA team to look worse than the amateur athletic union kids I saw." And that's what's trending.
All right, Carl Lewis, tell them how you really feel. That's what's trending right here on WURD Radio. Wow. You know what? Who would know better than Carl Lewis? I mean, this guy is a track and field icon. There's no way in the world. We have some of the fastest runners in the world. Why are we not at least in 3rd place? Like what? And for how many straight Olympics? 4?
Yeah.
Come on, man. What's going on? What's going on, Kwesa? It
looked bad. When I actually had looked at the replay of it, because I don't even know when they're coming on. It's like late. I'm like, so I just catch the recaps and stuff like that. And when I saw it, I was like, ooh, he's right. That was messy. And I don't know if, maybe a lot of what is happening is in regards to just, honestly, COVID fatigue and really just kind of going through it here, at least in the States for us. So I can actually understand why several of our athletes are like struggling, but at the same time, I'm like, man, it's hard to watch us out there sometimes. It really is. So I understand what he's saying.
Men's relay team failed to medal in a 4th straight Olympics. So there was no COVID in the previous 3. Yeah. What are they doing? Yeah. What are they doing? Who's coaching? You know what I mean? Like, if he's saying that the passing system is wrong, then I take Carl Lewis's word for it. If he's saying that you got guys running the wrong legs, then I take his word for it. If he's saying there's no leadership, then, maybe he's right. Maybe they need to let Carl Lewis coach the team.
Ooh. Okay.
How about that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'd watch that.
Yeah, I would too. I would too. I want to hear from you. 215-634-8065 is the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD. You know, it's a sad story about Dr. Dre and his daughter. I think, you know, hopefully they reconcile because, you know, that's your child, man, and that's your father. You know, so y'all need to, you know, reconcile. I think emotionally, if there is room for that, before you talk about finances or anything else, y'all got to reconcile emotionally, because that sounds like a mess, and it's heartbreaking to see black families kind of broken apart that way.
It really is, you know, and listen, I'm not a fan of Dr. Dre at all. I've heard, you know, other stories in the past about some things that, you know, he's kind of done. And I can understand, you know, maybe him feeling like, man, you know, I'm not, you know, Mr. Moneybags, like, don't always be coming to me for money, but you have a lot of money.
Yeah,
like,
he is Mr. Moneybags.
Right, like, so,
He
you know,
absolutely is.
there's no
He
reason.
got the bag.
Right. So help your family, like, you know, but yeah, 18 years, not seeing your daughter, yeah. I'm not here for
215, Lord have mercy. 215-634-8065. Now, I know, Kawesa, you have a personal stake in this, so I'm going to try to be, you know, sensitive. And I'm just going to say, LeVar Burton. I'm sorry.
I am so, like, I'm like, ew. Like, and then the thing is that the person who they chose wasn't even like the string of guest hosts who they've been having. You know, this person who they chose, I don't even remember his name because it's not worth repeating.
Something Richards.
Yeah, Richards.
Mike
something.
Richards or something. Yeah.
Listen.
It's not LeVar Burton.
It's not LeVar, okay? You know, it's like that's a really strange way to spell LeVar. I don't understand why you chose. Like, come on. Like, I need for y'all to, and they knew that they were going to choose this other dude because he like had guest hosted like back in November. And nobody was thinking about him. Nobody was thinking about him.
Yeah.
I'm upset.
Yeah. I hope it's not what I think it is, that they just want somebody white. I hope it's not that.
I mean, but they didn't even go with the wishes of Alex Trebek, because Alex Trebek said that he even wanted maybe a woman to take his place. So they didn't even listen to him in regards to, you know, who they might have wanted. And LeVar Burton was the one. People wanted him white, black. It didn't matter because we grew up with him. We trust him. We don't know this guy. We don't know him.
And that's the issue. We don't know him. Who are you?
Hey, you don't even go here. Like, we don't.
I want to know what y'all think. Give me a call. 215-634-8065 is the number you can call to get in. Reginald from Southwest is on line one. Go ahead, Reginald.
Good morning, Solomon. Peace and blessings.
Same to you.
All right. Real quick, Solomon, because I know you're busy. Number one is I'm a city employee, so I'm already angry, you know, because we're working without a contract. All right, past that. Well, my idea is, because you mentioned this before, and I have some people I talk to all the time, is the city needs to implement an open enrollment for city laborers. You don't have to have skills. You have to have a high school diploma, because you need these roads fixed. You need these streets cleaned up and stuff. Just hire these guys. Monday morning, open up, we're going to hire you. It'll cut down on some of the violence. You'll get employees. You'll get tax revenue. Come on, you gotta open stuff up. You took all the trades and stuff out of you, because I graduated in 1979. You took all the trades out of the school. There's nothing for these children to do. And here's the thing. Along with the homelessness thing, and a lot of young men go through this. When you wake up in the morning and you pat your pocket and there's nothing in it, and your stomach starts growling, and especially if you're sleeping next to a little girl or something like that, and there's a child crying in the corner, something like that, that implements how you're going to regulate your day. And a lot of times, with no skills, no abilities to do anything, you do the first thing that comes to mind, which is most of the time what we see in the media that we think is real, and it is not. The average, and our young folks don't understand. You know, I understand the entertainers and all that kind of stuff. I get it. But The average person, the people that make the world go around, is the people that get up every morning and go to work, they send their kids off to school, they try to do what they got to do. That's the real thing. Our children do not understand that. They don't. They see all this glamour, and it's not like that. It's really not like that. And these companies, they have to understand, you have to pay people. You cannot sit up there and reinvest into your company, buy your shares back and all. You can't do that, because what's going to happen is, there's an old saying in the hood: when you don't feed your dogs, they'll start to attack you. So folks need to get it together. City council, they need to get it together. We need a contract or something's going to happen. I'm just saying. But
all right, man. I hear you, Reginald, and I want to thank you so much for your call this morning on WURD. Let's go to Walter from New Jersey online, too. Go ahead, Walter.
Good morning, King Solomon, and Miss Kuwaisa, love that voice. Good morning. Boy, you resurrected Louis Armstrong today with that beautiful song. I enjoyed your guest, that you had a guest host on your show last week, Solomon, Reverend Alan Waller, and I wanted to ask him this question. I would like to ask you this question, too. With you both being influential, powerful preachers and community leaders in our community and all, I'm really inspired by a response that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Had responding to preachers, the Birmingham jail letter and all. Has there been a moment in your career, in your life, whereby you were criticized by your colleagues for all the work that you're doing? Because sometimes I wonder, do you ever feel alone for all the great work that you're doing on many fronts, from the radio and your overall life? Have you ever wanted to sit down and write a letter from the radio station to your critics?
No, I haven't. Because I think that the work has to speak for itself. I think the letter from a Birmingham jail was what Martin Luther King needed to do in that moment, and certainly it has resonated through time, and much of what he wrote in that letter has proven to still be true. I think it's one of the most impactful things that he's ever done. Was to write that letter, and I think it really speaks to his heart more than the sanitized version of King that we get through the annual reprisal of the I Have a Dream speech, where they only take a couple of lines and act like that's the totality of what he said. For me, I'm too busy doing the work, man. I can't. You want to criticize it, that's on you. You have people who call this show, who call other shows and criticize me. But if that's what you want to do, God bless you. I'm going to keep working.
Yeah,
you understand what I'm saying? I'm going to keep working, going. And that's where I'm at, man. Because there's too many people out here that need help. Too many people out here depending on us to continue to do the work. And so, no, I don't want to write a letter to my critics. If they want to criticize me, if that's what they want to spend their time doing, you spend your time criticizing me. I'm going to spend my time doing the work.
Amen.
That's where I'm at.
Yeah. Ain't nobody got time for that, Sweet Brown.
Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. And thank you so much. And certainly I appreciate Pastor Alan Waller and all the work that he has done and continues to do in our community as well. So thank you for your call this morning on WURD Radio. Let's go to Olanian from Nicetown on line 1. Good morning, Olanian.
Good morning. I have a cultural question, and it's one that I've been wondering for more than a year or so. With the Olympics, why is it that the countries who usually come home with the medals, whether it be gold, bronze, or whatever, are always the same ones, such as the first world nations, such as the United States of America, Japan, Germany, all the nations that are first world nations? Is it something with the training, the coaching, the genes, or what?
I think it's a couple of things. I think it is having resources to have world-class training facilities, having athletes who, you put resources behind them so that they have time to train, extensively. And I think the other thing is, when you look at who's actually competing in some of the events, a lot of these countries have black people. You know what I mean? Not all of them, but some of these countries, particularly in Europe and North America, they have black people competing. And so so that's part of it too. But you know, I think it comes down to resources, which give you the time to train, and give you world-class facilities to train. So that's what I think.
Can I implement one of the findings that I've heard when I was a child? There were some Russian scientists who wondered if babies born in Africa had some kind of superior or very well developed brain. And I wonder, and I'm just wondering, is it the same with our athletic skills, with our brain skills, but our brains aren't being exercised or taught or put in the right resources?
I don't know.
That's one thing.
I don't know.
Have a nice weekend.
All right, I want to thank you so much.
I missed the waste of singing because I was out on the road jogging. I forgot about singing. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
well, go back and listen to the Facebook feed. You can check it out there. Thank you, Olanian. We appreciate your call this morning on WURD Radio, and I want to thank you for that. And, of course, people can also weigh in on Facebook at ForWord at FORWURD. That's FORWURD. That's where you can weigh in and let us know where you are on these various things we're talking about on this morning's show. FORWURD is how you can weigh in and let us know where you are on these topics. Kwesa, what are they saying this morning on Facebook?
So we actually have a lot of comments. So let me go ahead and I'll try to grab as many of them as I can. Louise Wright says maybe Jeopardy won't get much review and they'll have to switch the host. Just saying. I'm sure there were many very intelligent women who could have taken over, or at least someone we can relate to, somebody we're somewhat familiar with. Yeah, like we're not even familiar with this guy. And then Lucy Little here says, Reginald, I agree with your views to an extent. That was a caller that we had a little bit earlier. I think Lucy Little was saying that that's it's lean love. So, hey. And then she said also, there is a difference between a homeless person and a homeless junkie. So, yeah, I hear you on that, too. Melissa Brunson says, if I remember correctly, it was during Nutter's administration that a lot of entry-level city jobs stopped being posted, and they started requiring a $35 fee to submit an application or resume just to test for a position. I think they have eliminated the fee, but I have never seen any entry-level clerical jobs that at least give high school grads a chance to get a job. So that's her comment that's there. Robert Bellamy says, good morning, Solomon, Kwesa, and Word family. I thank you for all you continue to do. Beautiful Kwesa, thank you for the blessing. You're very welcome. Thank you. And then also, Yvette Miles says, Black Jeopardy, starring LeVar. Right? No, yeah, we need that. Tanya Stevens, she says, I agree. # we don't know him. No, we don't. Like, who are you?
Nah.
Who are you? So that's one comment there. Phyllis Williams says, I feel LeVar should have been chosen. Just looking at him, hearing the way he asked the questions, and the joy or sadness he expressed when they answered gave me joy. And so that was her comment there. I'm just trying to scroll through. Then we also have here Rovetta Everett Gilmore saying, caller makes a great point, sending children back to school while city workers still working from home or going in 1 to 2 days a week. So that is her comment there, and I'm just kind of scrolling through. Dr. Fontes says, wow, so beautiful, Kwesa. Thank you for sharing your gift, and thank you for allowing me to share the gift. I always really appreciate it. Over there on YouTube, we have here, and I know I'm missing people, so I'm sorry, but Jean Nieves says, I'm not at all happy seeing Kensington open a place now so they can dry out. And then also she says, not fair at all. A mother told me at 6 years old, if I did what she was, I'm saying if she did something she was going to hurt me if I became an addict and not having pride. So yeah, she's saying that. Then we also have Purposely Pandora. I was recently thinking about my car insurance because I barely drive anymore. He should call them to see if they can find some new savings. They actually called me and saved what? That might have been from earlier. I might have missed something.
They talking about Akbar.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, what? Okay, all right, cool. Then Gary Thomas says, good morning, Kwesa and Solomon. Have a blessed day. Lola Khan says, I love this guy. We need black men, young men. And then also Malcolm White said, is saying that's great, Jacob. I guess who's hearing from what Jacob has said earlier.
Yeah.
And then also he says, go Kwesa, and he has a little smiley face with the hearts around it. And then Kadean Broadley, I'm getting hand claps here. Thank you for that. D says, sing it, Kay. And then Michelle Pugh says, sang Kwesa. And she gave me some hearts and things like that as well. I appreciate that. Jody Mayfield is saying, so beautiful, Kwesa. And Miss Cheryl Brown, good morning to you. Thank you always so much for just your kind words and calling in. And I'm just trying to get, there's so many people. Gail Marie, thank you for your comments. Viola Richburg Gray, thank you so very much for your comments as well. And Veronica Smith, there's so many. But yeah, I see we're coming up on a break, so I will go ahead and toss it back over to you, Solomon.
All right, so we are going to go to break. And on the other side of this break, we're going to talk with Ben Felicia, the Director of Operations and Strategy for the Philadelphia region of Pennsylvania Restaurant and Lodging Association, to talk about how restaurants have dealt with coronavirus and how they're going to be dealing going forward with some of the rules being a little bit confusing. We're going to talk with him on the other side about what's going on with restaurants as we deal with COVID. I'm Solomon Jones. We'll be right back.
Comcast is proud to support Team USA and share the incredible stories of dedication and determination on our athletes' path to greatness. Their achievements are an inspiration to the next generation and fuel the team of tomorrow. Those we help inspire and prepare today are the team that will build us a better tomorrow. That's why Comcast has spent a decade addressing digital inequities. Over the next 10 years, Comcast will invest $1 billion to help more people succeed in a digital world. Learn more at ComcastCorporation.com/Olympics. Hope Partnership Middle School offers a quality, subsidized independent school education to students and families in North Philadelphia. Located at 2601 North 11th Street, Hope offers small class sizes, personalized learning, a research-based curriculum, dedicated teachers, and a graduate support program, which supports students through high school graduation. They are currently accepting applications for 5th to 7th grade students for September. For more information, please contact them at info@hope-partnership.org.
Tune in Sunday at 1 p.m. for more legal issues with Tony. Legal expert Tony Moore will be taking calls and discussing how to strategize and plan wisely, legally. More legal issues with Tony, Sunday at 1 p.m.
This is not a fad for us.
We will not resume our regular programming when things die down. We're not black to help our bottom line or because it's politically correct. We're not joining a fight. This has been our fight, our message, our people. Black lives have always mattered here. We are
undeniably,
indefatigably, unapologetically, permanently Black Talk Media.
WURD.
It's Wake Up with Word, hosted by Solomon Jones. Right now on WURD Radio,
96.1 FM,
and 900 AM WURD.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM and 96.1 FM WURD. I want to welcome you back to Wake Up with Word, and joining us now is Ben Fletcher from the Pennsylvania Restaurant Lodging Association. Talk about how restaurants have been responding to COVID. Good morning. How are you, sir?
Good morning, sir. I'm doing great. Thank you.
Good. So tell us what have been the main challenges that some of your restaurants, some of your members have been going through concerning COVID?
Oof. I mean, how many hours do you have, man?
I know, right?
It's been a long 18 months.
Yeah.
Recently things have changed. We thought we were in the clear for a couple months, and now we have the Delta variant running around. So people are starting to make some changes now, and we don't know what the future holds for us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Have any of your restaurants considered making it, mandatory that people who come to the restaurant have proof of vaccination or a negative test or something around their COVID status? Is that something that any of your members are considering?
Yeah, I've talked about 4 or 5 different restaurants right here in Philly that have started implementing that. We saw some big restaurant groups in New York, some big restaurant groups in San Fran starting to roll that out. And these operators, are just trying to make the best decision for their staff, for their guests, and for their community. So, we always support restaurants make their own decisions for what's best for them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, have the rules around what you could or could not do, have they been an impediment due to some of the confusion around them?
Yeah, you know what? All this past year and a half has been really rough. And, last year we didn't know what we were dealing with. We didn't know how the virus spread. We didn't know if it was spreading in restaurants or gatherings. What we learned by the end of 2020 is that we found out it wasn't the restaurants causing the spread of COVID, that it was these, private parties in people's houses and social gatherings, and that it wasn't coming from restaurants. So, but it took a while for us to learn that. So as we move forward, we kind of know what the right thing to do is. But, what I have to tell you, Solomon, the best way for our industry to fully recover is to get everybody vaccinated. I mean, last year we didn't have that option. So we were kind of at a loss of, what we could do. All we could do was mask up and keep social distancing and keep high levels of sanitation and do contact tracing because we didn't have this vaccine. Now that we have the vaccine, we know that works. So, what we're really pushing is just vaccinations for all.
And so you guys are going to be part of a free vaccination event tonight at Clark Park. Tell us about that.
Oh, yeah. So, a couple months ago, probably 2-3 months ago, our first goal was to get the entire hospitality industry in Philadelphia vaccinated. And we did a really great job of that. I would say that the vast majority of hospitality workers in Philly already have their 2 shots. So we were like, what's next? Well, what's next is the community, the guests, the people that come into the restaurants. And it's the way for recovery. So we started working with Penn Medicine, Temple Health, Jefferson, Puente de Salud, Garces Foundation. I reached out to all the business improvement districts and say, hey, listen, what do you guys have going on where there's going to be big crowds? Because I can set up back clinics. I can get gift cards from restaurants. So tonight at Clark Park, they're going to be doing a screening of Black Panther at 8 o'clock. And for the 2 hours before that, Penn Medicine is pulling up with their big backs bus. They're going to be giving shots out to anybody 12 and up because, we want these school kids to get their shots. We want to make sure that school sports are safe. And anybody who gets their shot is going to get a $25 gift card to either Booker's or Renata's Kitchen. So we want to throw a little incentive in there from the restaurant community as well.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay, well, that sounds good. And I'm curious because, not everybody agrees that people should get the vaccine. How did you guys come to this decision, and was there pushback from some of your members?
There definitely was. I mean, we know that, we know that there's vaccine hesitant folks out there, but we also know if these folks actually, if they go talk to their doctor, if they go talk to their health provider, they talk to their friends and family that already got the shot, they're going to realize that that is the best decision. So, we're just spreading the word that it's good for your health, it's good for your community, it's good for your friends, it's free. You don't necessarily need to show ID. You don't need to have insurance. And it's the best way that we never go through what we went last year ever again. But I have to tell you, Solomon, some of these folks that have initiated these policies that require a proof of vaccine, they're getting a ton of blowback. I mean, they're getting just railed on social media, and people are calling them and giving them, harassing them on the phone, making reservations and then canceling on them. And, after everything we've gone through this past year, we had to put on so many de-escalation webinars and classes just over mask wearing last year or over social distancing. It's just a real struggle for everybody right now. These guys that are just trying to run their business to the best way they can, and they're just getting really beat up.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I was going to ask in terms of putting those rules in place. Has it helped their bottom line? So I know you get the harassment, but are people coming in and feeling safer to be there? And has it resulted in an increase in customers or something else?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that because that's the story that's not being told, sir. So the folks that have implemented, safer in what they perceive as a safer environment for their staff and for their guests are busier. The people that complain about it, the harassers are very loud, but the people that support them are coming out in droves. And, that's really important. There's a restaurant out in Wayne that got, just got blasted. But now you can't get a reservation there for a month because of so much community support. So the support is overwhelming. The naysayers are just very loud.
Okay, and so now what? As you watch what happens with government regulations, et cetera, I know a lot of restaurants initially, went online and started doing stuff online. Did restaurants suffer financially from that, and are they making a comeback from that?
You know what they are. I mean, March of 2020, April of 2020, restaurants across Pennsylvania were down 90% in sales. As the months went by, it was 70% down in sales, 60% down in sales. We did have a lot of help. We had help with the 2 rounds of PPP. We had the CHIRP grants in Pennsylvania. 35% of the restaurants got restaurant revitalization fund money that are going to help them survive. But there's a lot of people that are still struggling. And it's going to take years, just because you're walking by a restaurant and you see them packed to the gills that you haven't seen in a while, doesn't mean that they're back. It's going to take a long time to recover from that loss of 2020 and 2021 to really come back. So we're just really keeping an eye on these restaurants and making sure that they get the help that they need in order to continue to serve the community in the future.
Yeah. And so tonight you're going to be doing the thing at Clark Park. Give us, again, the location of that and how people can get there and get involved.
Sure. So, I mean, just first of all, University City District does these great movie screenings at Clark Park. It's open to everybody, right? Friends, family, neighborhood, far and wide. They're doing Black Panther at 8 o'clock. So the 2 hours before, it's going to be right. The bus is going to be parked right on 45th Street. Just go in, get your shot, grab your gift card to Booker's or Renata's, and then sit back and enjoy the movie with your friends and family. And you can also, on our website, on prla.org, you can see a list of any upcoming vaccination clinics as well. So we're going to be going all around the city, finding these great street fairs, finding these festivals, finding places where there's lots of people around, and just offering them incentives and giving them the right information so they can make that decision for themselves.
All right. That's Ben Felecia from the Pennsylvania Restaurant and Lodging Association. My last question to you is simply this. What is the takeaway you want people to get from your appearance here today? I mean, what do you think will be helpful to your industry and to its patrons?
Sure. So, two things. Please get vaccinated. If you know somebody who's not vaccinated, talk to them about your decision to get vaccinated. Get them vaccinated. Second thing, restaurants have gone through a very hard 18 months. They are short-staffed. It's hard to find product. Things are running differently than they did in February of 2020. So when you go into these restaurants, be kind. Be nice to those folks. They've been there for you your whole life. These restaurants are the heart of your community. Be kind when you go in there, and that's the number one thing.
All right. Ben Felecia from the Pennsylvania Restaurant and Lodging Association, I want to thank you so much for joining us this morning on WURD.
Thank you so much for having me, sir.
All right. All right. So 215-634-8065 is the number you can call to get in. That's 215-634-8065. That is the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. Kuwaisa, I thought it was very interesting that he said be kind, because people are tripping.
Yeah, tripping, full case of luggage, out here just being all types of rude and nasty to folks, and it's like, come on.
Yeah.
You know, y'all weren't doing this. Well, I mean, there were some people who were doing it prior to the pandemic, but I have noticed people being even more nasty, even just like down to like, oh, I'm spitting in their face or doing that. Like, what? Why would you do that?
Stuff.
Yeah. So I hear him on that.
Stuff. Yeah, no, he is absolutely right. Be kind. I mean, the vaccination decision, you make that, for yourself. But, man, at least when you go in there, be kind, man. Don't, you know what I mean? People are going through a lot. You're not the only one, And I think he's absolutely right. I want to hear from you. Give me a call, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. A lot of stuff going crazy, man. People driving crazy. You know what I mean? I'm on the plane. People getting up to pilot like we get ready to land. People like, all right, I'm getting up to go to the bathroom now. Like, you ain't know that before he said that? Like, I mean, just crazy stuff, man. People just, really, the behavior is different. It's different than it was before this pandemic. And I think people are stir crazy. I think people are going through emotional trauma. And I think that, we're taking it out on each other. And so that message, be kind, it's important. I want to hear from you. You can certainly give us a call, 215-634-8065. You can also weigh in on Facebook at onWURD, at FORWURD. That's FORWURD. Let's go to Sister Murray from Northern Liberties on line 1. Go ahead, Sister Murray.
Hey, Solomon, happy Friday.
Same to you.
Thank you. I wasn't going to call in, but something kept calling me saying, look, get that phone. Solomon, this radio station is addictive. Hey, listen,
I hear you.
I'm going to tell you something. All your topics are great, but onWURD is awesome because we have to teach our young people how to manage finances. It starts at a very, very early age. Mm-hmm. And the reason why I want to hit this topic really quick, and I'm going to jump onto something else real fast, but I have to say, if you don't make the right decision, it determines on where your life is going to end up at. It could be really devastating for your children. Parents are not really taught, and my parents' generation weren't really taught about a lot of finances. So they made a lot of bad choices, which also made their children into a bad situation. See, I didn't know I was poor, but I always figured something was not right. Like when I'm going to school in the Northeast, and my friends got all this money, and they buying lunch and stuff, and I'm sitting here like I can't even afford a pretzel and some French fries. But my friends were so nice; they always treated me. But the thing is that I didn't realize I was poor, and because my mom made so many bad decisions, and I love her to death. Let me tell you something: your parents, you love them to death because they doing the best that they know how. Don't judge them; they only doing what they know. So my mom said a lot not a bad choice. She moved a lot. We were here and there. And Solomon, I lived in the Salvation Army right there on Broad Street. Very a fraction, just about a week, because my mom couldn't keep up with her bills. Like she just was struggling. And I said to myself, this is not right. This is not how I want to live. I made a choice at a very young age. I walked off. I actually walked off, and I went to my uncle's house. I stayed with him, and I continued to school, and I stayed with him until I was able to process this. Because I'm like, this can't be how we're supposed to be living. You know, my dad, he went off, and my mom was stuck with all these kids. So she was doing the best she could. But long story short is, listen, you could change your life. And now I'm going to hit the topic of the people in Kensington, the taxpayers paying their dollars. You know, I struggled in life, but I found my way out of that. I maneuvered. I went to school. I got my education. I pushed myself, and I took care of my mom. Once I got on my feet, I took care of my mom because I'm like, there's something wrong with this picture. And that's what kids supposed to do. They forget about their parents. But here's what you do. You stay focused. You don't spend your money on a bunch of junk. Times are not the same. Everybody is struggling. And again, we need to be suing the city because I'm sick of looking at all this trash in Kensington and down North Philly. And all of those McDonald's is a haven for junkies. Shut it down. I don't even know where L&I is. McDonald's, KFC, shut them joints down. They filthy. I wouldn't even send a cockroach in there, Solomon. Hey, Solomon, listen to this. Have a wonderful weekend, okay?
Okay.
Wait,
all right. Thank you. We got to go because we got to go to break because we got Councilwoman Helen Gim coming up on the other side. I'm Solomon Jones. This is WURD. We'll be right back.
I've done everything to stay healthy and protect my unborn child during COVID. The way I see it, getting vaccinated is one less risk to me and my baby's health for now and the future. Plus, free vaccines are available in my neighborhood. You don't even need an appointment. Just walk in. You have the power to finish this.
Visit pa.gov/COVID for more information. Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
They're back!
Everyone's ready.
Platinum Shows presents the Dell Music Center Summer Series. Sunday, August 1st, it's Jeffrey Osborne. On the wings of love. Peebo Bryson. I'm so into you. And Regina Bell. Then Sunday, August 15th, it's the Basement Party with Big Daddy Kane. Baby Cool Mo D. EPMD, nice and smooth. The Sugar Hill Gang with the Furious Five featuring Grandmaster Melly Mel and Scorpio, Roxanne Shante, and Tough Crew. Then Sunday, September 5th, Labor Day weekend, it's the Party in the Park with the Whispers. Stephanie Mills. And After 7. Tickets available at the Dell box office and Ticketmaster.com. For more information, log on to ppshows.com.
So, what's the asking price on this house?
You'd probably be more comfortable living somewhere else.
How long a lease is the landlord looking for?
Well, I'm sure you can afford to live here, but...
What are the schools like in this district?
Yeah, we have twins in the 5th grade.
This neighborhood isn't really for your kids. You know what I mean?
If you're Black, Latino, Asian American, or Middle Eastern, and a real estate agent or rental agent says anything like this, you know what it means. You're being discriminated against. Housing discrimination because of race, color, or national origin is against the law. If you believe you've experienced housing discrimination, contact HUD. Go to HUD.gov/fair housing. That's HUD.gov/fair housing. Fair housing. The law is on your side. A message from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development in partnership with the National Fair Housing Alliance.
It's Wake Up with Word, hosted by Solomon Jones.
Good morning.
Right now on WURD Radio.
96.1 FM.
And 900 AM WURD.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD. One of the things that happened this week was that the Centers for Disease Control put a new eviction moratorium in place, and it's supposed to go through October 3rd. And here to talk about is Councilmember Helen Gim. Councilwoman Gim, good morning.
Thank you so much, Solomon. Good morning.
Yep. So what's different about this eviction moratorium than the one that was in place previously?
So one, I think, we have to give shout out to U.S. Congresswoman Cori Bush, who stood on the steps of the Capitol to ensure that there was action by the federal government. So what I would say is that the federal eviction moratorium, one of the weaknesses about it is that it's not super strong. There's a lot of work that needs to be on the tenant, but it is incredibly important because it allows for the tenant to download, a statement, a declaration that they can hand to their landlord that talks about urgent distress about homelessness, loss of income. But the most important thing for people to understand is why are we doing this? And that is because in the city of Philadelphia, it only applies to certain jurisdictions. Philadelphia is one of them. It applies to areas where COVID transmission is high. And in the past number of weeks, the COVID rate, transmission rate in Philadelphia has increased by 500%. We cannot afford evictions in the sense that, they can spread the virus, that the people who are targeted for eviction are extremely vulnerable. They are overwhelmingly in Black communities. They are women, and they are caretakers for our seniors, our disabled, or children. And that is what we are seeing now because the municipal courts are doing about 100 lockouts every single week. I know that this is a little confusing. Eviction is a process. Lockouts are when someone knocks on the door and tells you you have 10 minutes to vacate the premises. That is what's happening right now. And the reason why I'm on here today is because we need to call on the municipal courts to halt the lockouts that are currently going on because the CDC eviction moratorium, the federal eviction moratorium, makes it clear that Philadelphia was targeted because of our transmission rate, and we cannot afford to see a spike in COVID in people's health 2.5 weeks before school starts, and putting people in danger.
Now let me ask you this: what is the connection that the CDC says exists between evictions and the spread of COVID? What's that connection?
So there have been two national medical studies linking evictions to a direct rise in COVID mortality and death, and that is largely because individuals who are evicted are highly vulnerable in general. They are also then once you leave your home, you're now in a congregate care setting. You're either homeless on the streets, which is unhealthy and unsafe, or you're in a shelter in large groups. You can be, one of the horrible things that we're dealing with in Philadelphia is the fact that we can't really house families together, so families get split up when they're rendered homeless, and so you'll have families split up, and that just makes everybody vulnerable. When you lose your house, you lose access to care, and you certainly lose the protected setting that a house provides.
So what is it? Wait a minute. Let me just ask you this question. What is it that you want the municipal court specifically to do?
They need to halt the lockouts. They are currently locking out about 100 households a week. In the past week, we have been dealing with horrifying circumstances, including, people who are elderly who are now living in their cars, families with young children who are told that they had 10 minutes to vacate their premises, who lose access to all the things that their children had, and now the family risks being split up because our shelters can't accommodate it. We need to halt the lockouts. The other reason why we need to halt the lockouts, we've got hundreds of individuals who are being locked out whose landlords are getting paid for rent assistance. They are pending. We had a situation where a tenant was locked out by their landlord, and the very next day their rent assistance was approved, and that money of thousands of dollars is being sent to a landlord who violated the terms of the rental assistance agreement by pursuing the lockouts. The lockouts are involving individuals who have pending rental assistance. We have the most successful program in the nation. We have distributed $120 million to landlords in the city of Philadelphia to keep people housing stable, and we have tens of millions of dollars more to give.
Well, that's the other question that I have for you is because we've got millions of dollars that haven't been distributed in Pennsylvania. We've got millions of dollars that were left on the table, money that was supposed to go to rent assistance that went to the prisons instead. Like and that's on the state level. That's not, but still it's money that should have gone to people in Philadelphia. So what's being done and what can the city do given that that is a state thing? What happens with that money? Like, why hasn't the money been distributed?
So for clarity, Pennsylvania was abysmal in the distribution because they had no local network to be able to distribute. Like, I think there was a training for Pennsylvania counties that recommended SurveyMonkey, which was absolutely inappropriate for highly confidential documents and would have required somebody to submit those documents anyway. Philadelphia's rent assist program is state of the art. We have distributed the most amount of money in the country. We've been in the Biden White House. We've been honored, by national media and recognized for being able to give out the money. That being said, we've had 40,000 applications for rent assistance since April. It takes time. We have hundreds of applications to go through. We can pay back rent. We can pay rent going forward. We can clear debt. And what we need to see from the municipal courts is for us to halt the lockouts so we have the time to process through the money that we've got. And we are going to we have already distributed more money than almost any other jurisdiction, certainly in the state of Pennsylvania. But we've been incredibly, we've been very good about distributing all of our money. It just takes a little bit more time. It doesn't happen with the snap of a finger. So,
how long does it take to distribute the money from the time somebody applies to the city to the time that they get the money?
It can vary. So if they've previously applied for rent assistance, it's much quicker. If they're new to the rental assistance, it can take 60 days, maybe a little bit longer, maybe between 6 to 9 weeks is when the delivery is.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And in terms of what happens moving forward, I'm just curious to know how many people are still in need of rental assistance, because the moratorium is, it's nice, but if the money's there to get to the people, how many people are actually in need of this assistance, and does that jive with the amount of money that's available?
So what I'll say is that I said earlier, there have been at least 40,000 applications since April, and I think even that number is from mid-July. Once the moratorium, expired, I think many more people started to apply. There is need. There's no question. I am proud to have supported Joe Biden because he's the first president to recognize the need for local rent vouchers that are going to be needed. The rent assistance for many families is going to be needs to be a long-term investment by the city. In the meantime, though, we are doing a lot to end poverty-based evictions in Philadelphia. We are requiring that landlords have to first apply for rent assistance and also sit down with their tenants in a mediation with an experienced housing counselor so that they understand what the options are on the table. We have made evictions in Philadelphia to be a crutch. It's the first thing that people reach for. It's been way too, it's been a thing when people don't have any other options. We're trying to show that we can create other options. And we've been successful. We used to do 20,000 households were processed for an eviction annually in the city of Philadelphia. That made us the fourth highest evicting city in the nation. In 2020, we kept that number below 4,500. And we did it not just with rent assistance, but through that mediation program that tries to repair a frayed relationship between a landlord and a tenant when it goes really attract or exit a situation without necessarily having an eviction filing on their record, which makes it incredibly hard for people to then rent a standard, something that's not so standard in the city of Philadelphia.
Sure. Now, let me ask you this because, and a lot of the language kind of troubles me a little bit because I feel like landlords are being made out to be the bad guy. So suppose you have small landlords who, like, they have a mortgage on the property and they need the rent in order to meet the mortgage, and they're not getting it, and the program to give the rental assistance is slow, and so they're about to lose their property because this person can't or won't pay their rent, and they can't get any assistance. Like, they're not necessarily these rich people. So, like, is there some consideration for that?
Of course. And I said earlier, $120 million has made it into the hands of predominantly small landlords and throughout the city of Philadelphia, just in our jurisdiction alone. That is more than any other industry, any other small business in the city of Philadelphia. Nobody else has had back debt paid, rent going forward, and stability and assurances of income. There's no other industry. We have been devoted to that. I have been focused on that and made sure that landlords get paid. Second thing, we have a moratorium on foreclosure. The Court of Common Pleas has been very clear that there's a full moratorium on foreclosures during this pandemic. And so landlords are having things looking out for them. And I understand for everybody who is anxious. But I am saying right now that at this point in time, this is bigger than just a contract between a landlord and a lessee. That there is the health of our city that is at stake. And I need people to understand that this eviction crisis impacts Black women in particular. 74% of tenants are Black who face an eviction. Of people who face an eviction, 70% of them are women, and half of them are taking care of somebody who is a child, who is disabled, or who is elderly. When we talk about a village, this is what we're talking about. We need to pull together, and there is money to support people doing this.
All right. Well, I want to thank you. We got to go. We're at the end of the show, but I want to thank you so much for joining us this morning on WURD. We certainly appreciate it. I think there's a lot of people in Philadelphia who have to be looked out for, renters, landlords, others who are just going through a tough time, man, with COVID. This has been absolutely crazy. Congratulations on the program giving out some of that money. We look forward to more of it getting into the hands of the people who need it most, and we certainly want people to remain in their homes. I want to thank everybody who tuned in on today's show. I want to thank all of our guests, including Councilwoman Helen Gim, who just joined us on the show. She is calling for the municipal courts to stop the lockouts. Ben Felicia from the Pennsylvania Restaurant and Lodging Association. I want to thank financial consultant Akbar Hassan, Taylor Allen, and of course Deputy Commissioner from the Police Department, Christine Coulter, who joined us to talk about 911 as well. And Kawesa for blessing us with Friday's song. It was a jam-packed show. I want to thank everybody who joined us, and I want to thank each and every one of you. And now, for super producer Kawesa Mathis and everyone here at WURD Radio, I'm your host, Solomon Jones, saying stay tuned for The Source with Tiffany Bacon, where she'll be broadcasting live from the Marion Anderson Recreation Center for the Summer of Freedom Neighborhood Love Tour at 740 South 17th Street. And tune in Monday at 7 for more. Wake up with Word.